Courtenay? I'm going with Courtenay. Courtenay Harris Bond, freelance journalist who covers behavioral health, social justice, and family life. She's also a mental health fellow with Carter's Fellows. She joins Waking Up with Word to talk about her recent article, Why Are Kensington Residents So Opposed to the City's Alternative to Open-Air Drug Activity? And what are the alternatives? We will discover in our conversation with Courtenay Harris Bond. But now it's time for some news you can use.
News you can use right now on Wake Up with Word.
I'm taking applications for the off-key choir. I'm starting off-key choir because we never get to sing. I'm giving all the off-key people solos. The off-key choir is going to be an inspiration, and everybody's talking about not discriminating. They discriminate like heck in the choir. They be like, no solos for you. See, now in my choir, I'm going to have a progressive choir. You come in there talking something, yeah, and I'm going to say, I got a song for you. And you're going to say, Jesus, Jesus. Oh, like the rocks crying out. Oh, my God, you got rocks in your throat. You got gravel for you. Okay. Oh, here we go. The Illinois Senate has put its foot down strong in the paint. On Thursday, the Democratic-led Senate proposed a deal that anti-Trump fans can get behind. Either Trump releases 5 years' worth of his personal income tax returns so they can see how many rubles, or how much money he received from Russia. They being funny. How many rubles he received from Russian oligarchs, or he won't appear on the state's presidential ballot next year. Let me just slow clap that, clear my throat. Now we playing. Now we cooking with fire. We're cooking with grease. What do you got to cook with? Well, you can't cook without the fire. Well, you can now. You got electric stoves. But now you're cooking. now you're cooking and talking. Now you're talking about cooking. No, this is what you do. You play hardball. They always act like they can't do nothing. But when the Republicans was in there against Obama, they did stuff. They obstructed. They got all in his way. They messed stuff up. They was opposing all kind of vetoes and presidential. Like, you know what I mean? Like when the Republicans had this level of power, it looked like power. Now that we got it, it's like, what can I do? I don't know what to do. No, I wasn't ready. Now get ready. And I like the fact that they are getting ready in Illinois. They said, if you don't show us how much money you got from Russia, then we're going to rush your name off these ballots. My goodness. Oh, there's more to the story. I'm sorry. I just got so excited. National Public Radio reports that this is the crest of a movement by Democratic states to force the president to stop playing the, quote, I would love to, but I'm being audited right now, game with his tax returns. During contentious floor debates in the Illinois State House, Trump's name wasn't mentioned once by the legislation sponsor, State Senator Tony Munoz, a Chicago Democrat, who insisted he merely is trying to shed more transparency on the presidential campaign. See, now that's the game they play. They do dirty stuff and act like they're not doing dirt. So salute to you, Democrats. Stepping up your strategy. Don't say his name. Just have it apply to him. That way it looks like it's just general. And when they try to say you coming at him, say, I don't know what even talk about him. Because that's what they always do. Like when people call 911 on you and act like they didn't know that you could have got killed. They be like, they shoot you? They shoot black people? I'm sorry. I just smelled barbecue and I just thought it needed more maple syrup. They said, we don't use maple syrup. We use brown sugar. If you want to run for vice president or president of the United States, hey, what's wrong with providing your tax returns for the past 5 years? Muno asked his colleagues ahead of the Senate's 36-19 vote in favor of the bill. If you've got nothing to hide, you shouldn't have anything to worry about, he said. That's how I see it. I love the shade. Democrats have been pushing for Trump to release his tax returns when he was a candidate in 2016 in hopes of finding how a man couldn't borrow money inside the United States while balling without the help of Russian interests. Last week, House Democrats told Trump to let those taxes loose, but the president's assistant and head of the Treasury, Steve Mnuchin, okay, they said who could use another vowel in his last name. They got jokes today. Oh, they so reckless. Taxes. Oh, I thought you said they being funny. Okay. Long story short, this is quite frankly, with all due respect to the sponsor, an embarrassing waste of the Senate's time. This is what the state senator Dale Ryder said to NPR. This is being pushed by a far leftist organization from the city of Chicago that wants to be able to get up and chirp about the president of the United States, Ryder said. We ought to be better than this. No, we ought to get them taxes. That's what we ought to do. See, you see how it works? One group gets petty and then tries to act like they don't know what they're doing. The other group tries to get high and mighty and start moralizing and then start acting like they're working in the interest of the people and being efficient. What you need to do is just know what side you're on and just go hard with your character and your role. If your role is get the taxes, then if they try to say, oh, they're hurting the American people by wasting their time, well, you be like, well, then it's time for taxes, right? You just stay on code, on message, on point. Democrats, don't lift your head up on this one. Everybody needs to get on board. I can't wait till somebody in Pennsylvania says the same thing. Because if Ohio or Pennsylvania say, oh, key states. If they be like, I'm sorry, that's not. If they be like, Trump, if we don't get them taxes, you not on the ballots. That would be beautiful. Because then you just lose. You would just lose by default. And that's why it's so important to fight on all fronts. Because we don't have the power to write these kind of bills and get them approved, but our politicians and representatives do. So it's good to be out in the street. It's good to be on the air. It's good to be growing food and all that other good stuff. But it's also good to have somebody that can strategize against the potential tyranny in other news.
In some other news, oh, I can barely hear myself. There we go. 2 guards are facing charges for assaulting a woman who was jailed for a traffic warrant. Chantel Glass ended up at Cuyahoga County Jail in Cleveland, Ohio on July 16th after an altercation with a family member. She was not charged for the domestic dispute, but she was taken to jail due to a warrant related to a missed traffic court appearance. Glass wanted to call someone to let them know she was in jail, but the corrections officers denied her request when she refused to pick up a spoon lying on the ground. After that, it all went downhill, Glass told Cleveland.com. A female corrections officer threatened to have her maced and strapped to a chair. Glass began to make loud noises to get the guard's attention, and the threat became a reality. She was handcuffed and taken to a cell with a restraint chair. The 29-year-old said she walked to the chair willingly, but verbally insulted the officers after they denied her request for a phone call again. When Glass was finally restrained, Officer Robert Marsh punched her in the head. Corporal Idris Fareed Clark followed with a torrent of pepper spray. Glass, who suffers from asthma, feared for her life. The guards poured water over Glass and left her in the cell for 2 hours with no medical attention. Even though the incident happened 8 months ago, Marsh and Clark continued to work until they were placed on unpaid leave on April 9th. I don't understand why they're still working, Glass said. It's unjust. They were still working and still getting a paycheck. The mother of 3 deals with flashbacks and anxiety since the incident. Marsh and Clark were indicted on April 8th. Clark was charged with second-degree felony assault, interfering with civil rights, and unlawful restraint. Marsh was charged with several misdemeanors, including assault, unlawful restraint, and interfering with civil rights. Marsh and Clark are 2 out of 5 officers facing charges related to the mistreatment of those incarcerated under their watch, according to WOSU. The officers were indicted by a special grand jury after a report from the U.S. Marshal Service condemned the, quote, inhumane conditions to the jail. The investigation was opened after Cuyahoga County Executive Armand Budish expressed concern about inmate deaths. There's so many things happening over here. Corrections officer Martin DeVrig was charged with tampering with records, dereliction of duty, and interfering with civil rights after he didn't request medical attention for inmate Joseph Arquillo, who later died. DeVring, reportedly saw an unresponsive Arquillo lying on the floor of his cell. He did not check to see if anything was wrong. An autopsy determined he died of a drug overdose. I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on. So there's just so many things that are happening with these folks over in this Cuyahoga, I just lost the Cuyahoga County jail. It's ridiculous.
No, this is tragic, and it seems like it's happening
a lot.
Yeah, more than just there. I'm sincerely nervous just about having any issues at all with law enforcement. I'm gonna keep all my comments to myself today.
Right. Like, it's just, and the fact that, you know, she just went in and treated like that, at least for, because we're talking about several people, you know, that were going through stuff. So for Miss Glass, She was just in there for...
She wasn't even found guilty.
She wasn't found guilty or anything like that. And then on top of that, they held her because of a missed traffic court date. It wasn't like she was a violent offender, you know.
Restrain you to a chair.
Pepper
that
spray.
can traumatize people for life.
For life. I don't know. There has to. I mean, there needs to be a serious conversation, not just with law enforcement, but also, you know, I really do want to know how we as black folks, because when a cop pulls me over, my heart is pounding. It's pounding because I don't know if this is going to be okay, if I'm going to be let off with a warning, or if I'm going to be, you know, the next Sandra Bland. Like, you just don't know.
And that's a crazy feeling, to have a job that you know you just strike terror in the hearts of innocent people that you've sworn to protect. And people are literally like deathly afraid of you. People are deathly afraid of you. And at no point is it like, maybe we should do something different. Like, that's not even a national conversation right now. Like, within that community, you don't hear them getting together saying, we're going to talk amongst ourselves and we're going to work it out, because we know everybody's like afraid of us, and we know people think that we are corrupt and that we're killers. So we're going to, like, I don't know, have a convention, you know. Did you see what happened in Albany? Oh, maybe we'll talk about that a little later. Let's not do back-to-back, okay? Last time that happened, it wasn't good for Philly, right, with Drake. So I'm a Meek Mill fan, so I'm not with the back-to-back. During a Sunday night interview on 60 Minutes, let's go here instead, Nancy Pelosi was asked by host Leslie Stahl, you have these wings. AOC and her group, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and her group on one side, and then Pelosi says, that's like 5 people. Stahl. No, it's the progressive group is more than 5. Pelosi. Well, the progressive, I'm a progressive. Yeah. Clearly, Pelosi is trying to downplay the level of influence that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has, and is coming off like a jealous Real Housewife of Congress. CNN editor-at-large Chris Calizia also pointed out that this isn't the first time this has happened. Earlier this month, in an interview with USA Today, Pelosi said this of the influence of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and her followers. While there are people who have a large number of Twitter followers, what's important is that we have a large number of votes on the floor of the House. Shade. I wonder whom Pelosi was talking about there. In February, Pelosi was asked about the Green New Deal, a set of proposals aimed at addressing climate change that Ocasio-Cortez has endorsed. It will be one of several or maybe many suggestions we receive. Pelosi responded dismissively. That green dream, or whatever they call it, nobody knows what it is, but they're for it, right? Whoa. Maybe, remember, the callers were saying that, you know, remember the brother called up and said, you were right about Nancy Pelosi. I mean, she's sounding like Trump's sister if she wasn't so busy dodging them tax evasion things and retiring from being a judge. That's how she might sound. The green dream, or whatever they call it, nobody knows what it is, but they're for it, right? Pelosi doesn't want this AOC smoke. That's what the article says. But there might actually be fire, as it doesn't seem like AOC has Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I'm not doing AOC. I don't know why they started doing that. They don't do that with like Becky and Jen. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has reached out much to Pelosi, and that's probably because Pelosi is a part of the old guard. Whew. Just saying there's a divide. But my thing is, when there's a divide and one person's like 30 years older than the other person, I just start hearing ticking in my head. Like, just tick, 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 tick. Just, okay. Keep talking crazy. Okay. All right. You know? Some people got people in their family like that. Can hardly move around the house, but they telling everybody what to do, talking real crazy. And you're like, bruh, if you want to get washed, you might want to be nice to some people. You can't have a caretaker come over and you still cussing and fussing. I know I'm speaking to somebody. You can't be cantankerous and can't walkatus. You can't do both. Once you lose, people can't even feed themselves, get up, or darn near see, but they want to cuss and fuss everybody out, telling people what they're going to do in the house and how they still need to drive, don't take their keys. Like, stop. You got to know when your time is up. When your time is on, you do you. But you actually, when you're in your moment, you should be speaking in a way that when your time is up, you more like an emeritus as opposed to, you know, try to forget a his. Like some people be like, yo, remember him? I skipped over him. Like those presidents nobody ever talks about. There's a whole lot of presidents that nobody ever mentions. Like in no book, no history conversation, no political debate. There's certain presidents that you would think never were president. And that's how some people are, even in their family. Like when they go, it'd be like, yeah, he was something else. Yeah, he didn't come around much, but yeah, you don't want to be that person. So Nancy Pelosi, the world is changing fast. You got a dude with his husband running for president, and that's not even the main story. A man is running for president with a husband, and that's not even the top 5 points of his story. People are like, yeah, he's the one with the policy. Like I said, wow, we come a long way. Because 20 years ago, it'd have been like, wait a minute. You telling me the two dudes gonna be, like, wait. No, now it's just like, you know what, bruh? I'm just worried about how to say his name. I was just saying Buttigieg is Buttigieg. You know, I don't know. It sounded like a dance, like right after the Lindy Hop before they had the Charleston or something. It was like, come on, baby, do the Buttigieg. Okay, I'm here. Yeah, baby. And the Hickenlooper. No, I'm just kidding. I'm Aaron. She's Kawasa. I'm just trying to wake y'all up this morning with a smile on your face. You're waking up with work, y'all.
Wake up with Word with Dr. Aaron Smith. We'll be right back.
Brothers and sisters,
don't miss The Source. Weekdays 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Word Radio, wordradio.com, and the Word Radio app.
We filmed Pennsylvania adoptive families and asked them why more people need to become foster or adoptive parents.
As a society, we have a responsibility to make sure every kid gets from being a kid to being a responsible adult.
I would encourage anybody to do it. You get so much more out of it than you expect.
Visit adoptpakids.org to watch the video, meet the kids, and learn how you can become a foster or adoptive parent.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Who will protect the citizens of the tri-state area from careless motorists, doctors who make medical mistakes, and companies that make defective products? Who will ensure that property owners are held accountable for dangerous conditions on their land? Who will represent the people with the honesty, integrity, and compassion that they deserve?
I will. I'm Sam Anion, your advocate, your lawyer, but most importantly, I'm your friend.
For more information, call 215-935-6901. That's 215-935-6901. Call now.
This is Word Radio, independent black media.
PP Shows presents the Mother's Day Music Festival Weekend in Atlantic City. Friday, May 10th at Caesar Circus Maximus Theater, The Whispers. And the Force MD. Saturday, May 11th at Boardwalk Hall, Maze featuring Frankie Beverly. Joy and pain. Kim.
hey girl, you can trust in me, girl.
I'll Be Sure. And Christopher Williams. The weekend wraps up Sunday, May 12th at the Tropicana with After 7. And Drew Hill. 3 shows in 3 nights. Log on to ppshows.com for information about discounted hotel rooms, 2 big after parties, and brunch. Tickets to all the concerts can be purchased at Ticketmaster.com. Mother's Day weekend. Atlantic City is the place to be with 3 big concerts. Be there.
Now, a traffic update on Word Radio.
Good morning. This report sponsored by eBay. Traffic jammed up on the Pennsylvania Turnpike westbound, jam Willow Grove to Fort Washington. Accident there, the reason. Southbound 95, that's jam Cotman through Girard. Westbound Vine, busy 8th out through Brodigan Parkway through the Schuylkill Expressway. Schuylkill westbound, jam Bear to South. Again, the Boulevard to Belmont eastbound, busy from 202 through Gladwin and the Boulevard through Girard. 422 jammed eastbound Oakson through 23. The Boulevard Route 1 northbound jam now approaching Ridge Avenue up through Wissahickon Avenue. An accident there. 42 northbound 168 through 295 busy. 55 jam northbound Deptford in the 42. You know, when you're shopping, you find that absolutely perfect thing. That feeling you get, and then you see the price, and you're like, wait, it's how much? Then you get sad and eat a donut. But if you check eBay, eBay has the thing you want for the price you want. For more traffic information, log on to SigAlert.com. I'm Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
You're waking up with Word.
Waking up with Word, y'all.
On Word Radio. Black Talk Media.
900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, WURDradio.com. Listen live anytime and log on. If you don't have that app, you know where to go. Download an app like you know. I am the host of the show, Aaron Smith, the rapping professor. Queen Kawesa, the super producer. Put some respect on her name, and you are waking up with Word, y'all. We have some news you could use, and we have some interviews too. But first, it is time to go to the phone lines. First on the air today, Deacon Abrams. Good morning. Deacon Abrams?
Good morning, Doc.
How you doing?
Good morning, Doc. How you doing?
Doing well.
Doing great, man. Look here. I want to, I'm waiting for Minister R.B. Marentazan. We are going to Lanham, Maryland. We have a TV program that comes on every other Tuesday. It's called Point Man for Veterans. And I just want to report that on last Thursday, we won our court case against the city of Philadelphia about having a director of Veterans Affairs. I sent you the court papers by email. I think it was yesterday. I sent it to you.
I did receive the email and sent everything straight over to Queen Kawesa to get you on today. But tell us a little bit about what was in there.
Okay. Look, when we went in front of the judge, we've been fighting them for 6 years to get this director of Veterans Affairs. And what happened, Judge Sanina, we were supposed to be going to court, and 6 days before going to court, they switched judges on us, and Judge Sanina, I don't know her first name, she, without even hearing our case, she threw it out, threw the case out.
Wow.
And so we appealed it to higher court. Our attorney, Walter Ted Walkenhorst, and Mr. Leon Williams was spearheaded our case. And we had 3 judges, a female and 2 male judges, to hear our case. And they agreed with us. The city was saying that we have no standard in the county of Philadelphia and the city of Philadelphia because we don't live in the county. But we are veterans of the state and veterans of the United States of America. And so for some reason, Darrell Clark, now I never thought that we could be so petty and for our public officials to be so petty, spearheaded by Darrell Clark, to disrespect veterans. You know, they can give Jim Kennedy can give the LBGTs the direct for their concerns and other concerns. You know, but then they're gonna dismiss veterans as toilet paper soldiers. You know, and it's really hurtful. 6 years, 6 long years, we've been fighting our own people. Our black public officials in City Hall, the City Council. We've been fighting them like we were fighting back down in South Carolina, man, back in the 50s and 60s. These people don't care about veterans. So I'm here to say that you can beat Goliath. We are the Davids, City Council, the City Hall, or Goliath, and you can win. If you just stick to your guns, stick to pray in the prayer of faith, you will prevail. And I just want to thank everybody who encouraged us or even prayed for us. I want to thank them. And this afternoon at 12:30 to 1:30, we'll be on air. We have 156 million viewers on the Sports and Entertainment Network. So you can go to James Abrams' Facebook. Click on me in the center, and my great-grandson and I will come up on the next prompt. Scroll down, and you'll see the picture of Minister R.B. Marentazan and myself. Click on that, and you'll be able to get that program.
All right. No, I appreciate you.
And I want to thank you, man. And remember,
thank you.
May 11th, man, we want to have that
event at Triumph.
Yes, at Triumph.
Yes, sir. No, I got you.
And I want to thank you, Doc, man. I love you. I love Teresa. And y'all, God bless you, man.
No, thank you, and congratulations. And thank you for your service. Appreciate y'all. Yeah, some good news, right? It's nice to have some good news every now and then, those small victories and large victories, especially if it's long fought like that. Mary from Mount Airy, thank you for waking up with Word.
Yes, good morning, Word family.
Good morning.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear about what was the point.
Appointment minister, yeah.
Yes. Because that was a long, hard fight for him, and it shouldn't have been. You know, they honored this country by serving, and for Clark to deny anything, you know, all these people need to be held responsible for their actions. I'm calling in reference to why I don't want this safe injection site in Philadelphia or the state of Pennsylvania and throughout the country. We should not be providing assistance to people to shoot up drugs in this country. You know, we had over 70,000 people that died from drug overdoses. We have 300 recovery houses in Philadelphia and 2 respite centers. And that's just in Kensington section. We have no idea. We probably have over 1,000 throughout the city of Philadelphia, because I know we have several in Mount Airy. And behind former Governor Ed Rendell, former Mayor Ed Rendell, this man is dishonest. He removed $2 billion out of our state budget in 2002 to ensure every citizen in the state of Pennsylvania for medical coverage. We would not have to be fighting this battle regarding coverage for people. They could have gotten, if they were injured, disabled. This man did nothing. He stole the money. What he did was the money was supposed to have been used for Act 13 of 2002, the Medicare Act of Pennsylvania. That's the Medical Care Availability and Reduction of Error Act of Pennsylvania, because we had so many people that were fake going in these medical institutions like they were doctors, and they were not. And he never provided the coverage for the people like he said. We don't know what happened to that money. Also, it was supposed to have been used for Patient Safety Authority Act 13 of 2002 of Pennsylvania. Safety was never provided for the citizens of Pennsylvania. And this man fought me tooth and nail when I was threatened based on the supplemental insurance benefit, where I was injured on the job. And he denied that we even had that law. To find out, I took it all the way up to the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania, pro se. I lived in the law library. This man is dishonest. He needs to be in jail because he stole everything he looked at from the citizens of Pennsylvania. And he wants to introduce this safe injection site. This is only a money maker for these people. And they need to be looked at. I already called the U.S. attorney on them, because they need to look at all the money that Rendell schemed from this city and state, and they need to look at these people that going to engage themselves with him with this safe injection site, because nothing is safe when you encouraging people to shoot up drugs, because we will be liable for anybody that died in that so-called safe injection site. Where are these people getting the money from? They're not working anywhere. They're going to rob you to feed their habit. They're going to break in your homes to feed their habit. And the drug dealers are going to be circling any area that have these sites available. So I don't want to hear this, why we don't want it, like we don't want to help people. This is a bunch of nonsense. And we need to look at these people that are being dishonest, and instead of providing treatment, no, they want to have this as a drug-infested city, and they want to make sure that we have people coming from all over the country to shoot up drugs in Philadelphia. No, we're not going for it. No way we're going to have any type of safe injection sites in Philadelphia. Thank you, and you have a good day.
Thank you, Mary from Mount Airy. Also, Sunny from South Philadelphia. Thank you for waking up with Word.
Good morning, Professor.
Good morning.
Yesterday you were talking about the guard that found out the Watergate.
Yes, Frank Wells.
Frank Wells. Well, you know, I feel as though it's a darn shame what happened to the young man at that time, because Jesse Jackson was taking a photo up with him all over, everywhere. Now Jesse Jackson have income. You mean he couldn't pick him up? All these other black people, even if it was just carrying their bag, they just didn't even touch him. Let him go. Let him wiggle away.
No, I hear you.
Right. I'm just saying, well, how come Jesse won't take a picture with him? Jesse had money, influence. Okay, I got your back. Where was that at the time? I got your back. No, I just want to see a picture, and after that, bro, you on your own.
No, I hear you, brother. Sonny, appreciate you.
Thank you for taking my call.
Yeah, not a problem at all. Appreciate y'all. Keep calling up. 215-634-8065. 215-634-8065. We got some time today, so I really want to take time, to get to allow the people to have their voices be heard. Madeline Dunn from Overbrook. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. And how are you and the Queen?
Doing well. How are you?
It sounds really good. Listen, I am so excited. Okay, number one, let me back up. About 2 weeks ago, I heard that mayor and his general express love of people, etc., who wants to run for president. And I think you will remember because I called you and I said I like what he had to say. Then last night I heard something different. I heard an addition to who he really is. He married his husband. And my mind went, oh my. And it's not that I have anything against people because you are who you are, but it put him in a different position in my mind for president. And I'm not exactly sure of it. I'm praying on it. I'm meditating on it. But in the meantime, I just wanted to bring that to the fore, that it was I had just not expected it. Now, let me get on to Brother Renaissance. Brother Renaissance has been fighting that battle a long, long time. And I think it sounds this morning like they have come to a new conclusion. And maybe that's what we have to do. We have to stay on the battlefield for what it is we want, what we need for our community, and to just move right next door to Sister Mary from Mount Airy, my sister. Look, this woman has got the research mind, got the brain that just stays with it. And see, and I remember now, and I heard you this morning, my dear, 85 and a half means that sometimes we're going to slow our roll and redo something. And that's what I did on the mayor of Philadelphia thing. I had not made a decision. I was hearing things that I didn't like over and over for this person who's supposed to be our mayor. I don't know if he really is our mayor. He might have won the seat, but his mind didn't do the things he said he was going to do. And then when I hear he gave away contracts, we can't even clean the city hall and the municipal buildings and those things downtown because he took the contracts from the sister. And he took other contracts away. He said we don't know how to do our paperwork. There's so many things going on that I'm just praying and praying. And in the meantime, my Holy Spirit said, you better get busy for Anthony And that's what I'm doing. I'm being busy for Anthony Hardy Williams.
Well, thank you. I appreciate y'all calling. Who else is on the line at this time? 215-634-8065, 215-634-8065, or toll free 1-866-361-0900. Rebecca from West Philly, thank you for waking up with Word.
Good morning, and thank you for taking my call.
Good morning.
I just have one thing to say, and I've been thinking about it ever since I heard it. I think that's the dumbest idea, a safe injection site. They're going to have safe, they used to call them shooting galleries, and they lock people up for having $5 and $10 worth of weed. I think that's crazy to even, think of something like that. To have people come in, if anything, try to encourage people to get off drugs. Safe, that's just stupid, I think. That's all I had to say about it.
No, I appreciate y'all voicing your opinions this morning, because it's good for the people to hear what people actually think and not just, let the interviewees and myself and Kwesi talk. I think it's important that it's a cooperative effort to really have an understanding of the pulse of the community, because I ride through it, but some people live right in it. And it's a different situation when you live like a block away from where they're talking about building a site. A lot of people's opinions, could be shifted when it's in their backyard. So I like hearing from the people, directly affected, as well as the people who are theorizing and making plans. I'm Aaron Smith. She is Queen Kwesi. Keep on calling. On the other side, we'll keep the conversation going. 215-634-8065, 215-634-8065. You're waking up with Word, y'all.
Listen to Word Radio on the go with the Word Radio app. Search for WURD in your favorite app store today and take us with you wherever you go. Stay connected to Word Radio, independent black media.
A place like Home 2, located 2276 Georges Lane, provides a clean and active environment for seniors, including referrals, daily cognitive therapy, podiatry, exercise, arts, and crafts. Call 215-878-1200 now.
Since 1904, Philly's top sandwich pros and homemakers have always started the exact same way, with those legendary Amoroso's rolls baked fresh daily. Word family, put Amoroso's rolls on your shopping list for your kids' school lunches and your next family gathering. Want to make your very best sandwiches? Always start with the very best sandwich rolls. Pick them up today at your favorite supermarket or food store. Amoroso's, why Philly's sandwiches are world famous.
Support independent black media and join the Forward movement now at 215-425-7875 or visit wordradio.com.
Councilman Alan Dom is building a brighter future for Philadelphia's children, fighting for more school funding, raising funds to support tech education, and personally donating to teach computer coding at Coded by Kids. Listen to Coded by Kids instructor Ashley and CEO Sylvester Mobley.
There are a lot of kids that will have a brighter future thanks to Alan Dom and his contributions to Coded by Kids.
Having Alan Dom make a commitment to transforming people's lives through technology has helped us. I can't thank Alan Dom enough.
Fundraising to teach computer coding, personally donating thousands. Alan Dom is fighting to give our children the opportunities they deserve and preparing them for success. Big ideas, big achievements. A better city for all of us. Vote Alan Dom, Democrat for City Council at large. Paid for by Alan Dom for City Council.
Now, a traffic update on Word Radio.
Good morning. This report sponsored by eBay. Busy ride this morning on the Schuylkill Expressway westbound, James Vare to south, again the Boulevard to Belmont, eastbound 202 to Gladwin. Again, the Boulevard through Girard to busy westbound Vine, 8th out through Broad Lace Parkway through the Schuylkill Expressway. Southbound 95, that jams from Academy down through Girard. Again, Ridley Park to the Blue Route. Northbound, no major problems through Philadelphia. Back to the Boulevard Route 1 northbound. That's a jam ride from north of the Schuylkill Expressway to Wissahickon Avenue. An accident there just cleared. 42 northbound, Blackwood Clementon to 295, busy. 55 north, jam Deptford in the 42. Then Franklin Bridge, now midspan to Center City, a heavy ride. You know, when you're shopping and you find that absolutely perfect thing, that feeling you get, and you see the price and you're like, wait, it's how much? And you get sad and you eat a donut, but did you check eBay? eBay has that thing you want for the price you want. For more traffic information, log on to sigalert.com. I'm Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
Let's go! You're waking up with Word with the rapping professor, Dr. Aaron Smith, on Word Radio. Black Talk Media.
900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, Black Talk Media. I'm Aaron Smith, the rapping professor. Queen Kaweza, I don't know why I ended like that. Super producer. And you are waking up with Word, y'all. Bobby from South Philly, thank you for waking up with Word.
Good morning. Thank you for taking my call.
Good morning.
I'm calling about something that I think is very personal to black people as a whole. Now, I read from Scoop about an underground railroad here in Philadelphia, and I'm just wondering why that this place, the location hasn't been, honored. It's a historical site, and I'm just wondering why. On my side, so that I take responsibility as well, I'm going to continue to do the research. I haven't found it yet. People ask about it, just brush it off. But I'm going to do the research because I know that it was established in the 1800s, and it's a historical site, and it's a site where, slaves ran from the South to be there. So I just want to bring that out there. I should say specifically, it's located in Media, Pennsylvania.
Okay, no, I'll definitely look into it. It was in the Scoop?
Yeah, it was in the Scoop for one of the African American History Month. I lost my article. I'm going to go back to it.
All right. Well, I'll definitely look into it. 215-634. Thank you, Bobby from South Philly. 215-634-8065. 215-634-8065. And we've been talking so many major stories that are going on in the world. And I was looking at the story about Representative Omar, and they were, again, I guess I should say, continuing to threaten her life. Ilhan Omar says in the days since President Trump tweeted about a speech she gave last month, she experienced an increase in death threats. She also alleged that President Trump is encouraging right-wing extremist violence. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders denied earlier Sunday the president was trying to incite violence. Quote, since the president's tweet Friday evening, I have experienced an increase in direct threats on my life, many directly referencing or replying to the president's video. I thank the Capitol Police, the FBI, the House Sergeant at Arms, and the Speaker of the House for their attention to these threats, Omar said in a statement released Sunday evening. Pelosi said Sunday she had spoken with the House Sergeant at Arms about Omar's safety and that she wanted to make sure a security assessment was being conducted. CNN has reached out to the White House for comment. In the Friday tweet, Trump wrote, quote, we will never forget, end quote, and included video of a speech Omar gave last month in which she said, quote, for far too long we have lived with the discomfort of being a second-class citizen, and frankly I'm tired of it, and every single Muslim in this country should be tired of it. CAIR was founded after 9/11 because they recognized that some people did something, and that all of us were starting to lose access to civil liberties. Omar was speaking last month to a California chapter of CARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations, and it was actually founded in 1994. Trump included in the tweet an edited video of the 9/11 attacks. Omar, in her statement, said Trump was encouraging violence, which Sanders denied earlier Sunday in an appearance on ABC's This Week. Certainly, the president is wishing no ill will, and certainly not violence towards anyone. This is the quote, but the president is absolutely and should be calling out the Congresswoman for her not only one time, but history of anti-Semitic comments. I didn't get how that connected to that last comment she just made, but... As Sanders said, Omar noted Trump would be visiting her home state on Monday for a rally. Violent crimes and other acts of hate by right-wing extremists and white nationalists are on the rise in this country and around the world. We can no longer ignore that they are being encouraged by the occupant of the highest office in the land. Counties that hosted a 2016 Trump rally saw a 226% increase in hate crimes in the months following the rally, and assaults increased when cities host Trump rallies. So we've talked about that on the air a couple of times, how the increase in violence correlates, now you can't say causality, but definitely a correlation between his appearance at these rallies and the violence in the areas where he appears. So he's coming to Ilhan Omar, Representative Omar's home state. So we're just, praying for the best and for a difference in what the trend has been in terms of upticks in violence based on Trump's appearances. This is particularly concerning, the quote continues, given the president's visit to my home state of Minnesota on Monday, Omar said in her Sunday statement, violent rhetoric and all forms of hate speech have no place in our society, much less from our country's commander-in-chief. We are all Americans. This is endangering lives. It has to stop, said Omar. I think that what's the brother Charles from Camden, and people talking about like praying and justice. I see things happening where, you know, I think the phrase, you know, the less biblical phrase, or less Quranic phrase, right? God don't like ugly. I think that's true. Yeah, people have done it so many times. There's been, just even in my little microcosm of hip hop, I could name rappers, some of them even local, who have just done what they wanted to do, you know? And then they say their calamity comes suddenly. Their calamity comes suddenly. And it could be a big fire. It could be a hurricane. It could be an impeachment process. It could, like, eventually, you're going to get what you give, and it just is going to be what it is. And I was trying to look up what we had to do with this Notre Dame fire, with this cathedral. And I was like, historically, I'm looking at the college only got 4% black people today. Like Notre Dame to college. So I was like, what is our history there? I need to really, because that's what I've been looking at. If any of y'all know the history better than me, please enlighten the group on what is, because I remember Tupac had a song. I think he said, should we die when the Pope dies? My request, we should cry if they cried when we buried Malcolm X. And I was like, wow. Should we cry when the Pope died? My request. This Tupac Shakur said, he said, we should cry if they cried when we buried Malcolm X. And I said, I don't think anybody, I don't know how many allies. I don't know. So maybe on some level it's time to reciprocate same. I'm not saying to be evil, but be pragmatic when it comes to how you allocate your energies on a daily basis. If you give all your energy to worrying about somebody that ain't worried about you, then you ain't got enough energy to worry about the people who need, you know, who need your attention and support. There's young people out here with no parents. I saw a story yesterday, and the guy was talking about how it is to live, you know, with a record. And he was visiting a young man. He was trying to work with some people in the community. He said, when's the last time you saw your father? And he said, how long your father been locked up? And the little boy, he looked like about 9. The little boy, he looked hurt. He looked completely hurt. Cause, you know, that's the age where they don't learn to put the veneer on. They don't learn to wear the mask. They're not fronting yet. They don't learn to get that persona, that I don't care persona, you know? I don't care about my dad not seeing me. And at 9, you can still see it in his face, that his spirit is crushing. He needs a hug, and he needs that male role model. And he's not walking around, you know, with the cover yet. He didn't develop that yet. So he was like, when last time? He said, my dad's been locked up for 7 years. And I guess the guy, I told you, look about 9. He said, when's the last time you saw your father? He was like, 2 years ago. So I'm thinking there's places where you could put your energy. Like, I don't got time for whose feet the Pope is kissing and whose cathedrals is on fire, and I don't got time for that. Like, that got nothing to do with us. But if you could tell me the connection, I'll talk about the connection. I just need to get some sources. I just don't know how it connects. I don't know how to bring it to the people. That's like me just bringing some arbitrary story, I don't know, about Budapest and some fashion craze in Budapest. And they'd be like, what they got to do with Philly? We deal with safe injection sites. And, you know, Mark from Sicklerville, thank you for waking up with Word.
Good morning, brother. How are you?
Doing well.
Yeah, I was watching the news with that the Notre Dame fire. And I was thinking, you know, they make your heart bleed the way they talk about this story. And I said to myself, I wonder how many boys and girls were molested in that place. You know, when someone do something of color, no matter how small the thing may be, and when anything in their life that they do, anything that they accomplish, they always bring up that one thing. You know, this person did this with dogs, Michael Victor, how much more you achieved. But they won't bring up their history. They won't say, well, the church has a long history of child molestation. They just totally separate the two incidents every time.
That's a good point.
They don't bring it up. So, you know, with that, forget it. You know, they talk about that safe injection site. I remember Brother Solomon Jones had a thing down 7th and Girard, and I went down there. And all the people from the counties, they didn't even live in Philadelphia, and they were there, the white folks were there talking about how, you know, we should encourage this. but they don't have no stake in the community on but their children. These politicians, they come to these meetings. I said so many times when I went down to the algorithm thing that they were trying to pour. They have all these politicians there. They already got their minds made up. They said we're going to do more studies. We're going to check out the numbers. The people got to get out and shut it down like they did back in the day. They have to hit the street. They have to, cut off traffic. Let them know that you're not going to build this in my community. That's the only way, because the politicians, no matter who we got in office, maybe someone may come along, a brother like you that may run. We hope.
Oh, no. I'm not running to it. I'm running from it.
And there's soldiers out there, brother.
Yeah, I'll be out there.
Yeah,
but not in there.
No, you out there. You in there. You doing your part.
Yeah. This is my front right here.
We got you, and we appreciate that. We need some people in there, and that's understanding the politicians. But for now, we're going to keep, getting a run around, chasing our own tail. So we have to hit the street. People have to come and protest, and it don't have to be in violence. If violence comes to us, then we have to reciprocate it back. But I'm not speaking over. I'm saying hit the streets, make your voice known. People have to stand up in them communities and say, you're not going to build this in my community, because they already got their mind. Kenny and them got their mind made up. They're going to do what they want to do. So,
I hear you.
Keep the good work up. I love you, man.
Appreciate you. Mark from Sicklerville. Call up 215-634-8065. We're going to take a break and get them back on the other side. I am Aaron Smith, the rapping professor. So much going on. That's why I said we got to focus. We can't get every story the same attention when some of them deal directly with our lives and our future, and some of them are just like, okay, I don't know. I just don't know what to say. They was like, oh, it's a big fire. I was like, that's unfortunate. I'll say that. Firefighters say the cathedral, stone construction, and main work of arts were saved, so that's a good thing. They got the main stuff saved. There was the wooden interior was lost, and that's what happened in Notre Dame, the cathedral. I heard about the Hunchback, and I know there's 4% black people up there, and that's unfortunate. I'm Aaron Smith. She's Queen Kawesa. You're waking up with word, y'all.
Reality Check. Reality Check. Hosted by Charles Ellison. Monday through Thursday, 4 p.m. till 7 p.m. Right here on Word Radio. 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Streaming live on WordRadio.com.
1 in every 4 of us can't make ends meet. We can keep pre-K for our children and still get rid of that ridiculous soda tax. Drug injection sites are not safe, and someone gets killed almost every day in Philadelphia. From poverty to potholes, we can do better. I am Anthony Hardy Williams, and I have been listening to you.
We can move Philadelphia forward together. Vote Anthony Hardy Williams for mayor. Paid for by Williams for mayor.
Attention Word audience, do you know that you can get help with your PICO energy bill? PICO is here to help you with financial help through various assistance programs, including the PICO CAP program, which provides a monthly credit for eligible low-income customers based on the customer's total household gross income and energy usage. If you are experiencing financial hardship, you may qualify for the PICO CAP program.
And PICO Cares is the customer assistance and referral evaluation service designed to assist special needs, low-income customers who have a temporary personal or financial hardship that prevents the payment of your PICO energy bill. If you have a special needs child or adult in your care, your household may qualify for the CARES program.
Call 1-800-774-7040 today to see if you qualify due to an existing situation or a change in circumstances within your household. Call 1-800-774-7040 today for more information on the PICO CAP or PICO CARES program. PICO, powering our communities.
The Kimmel Center offers free arts education programs to schools across the region. Teaching artists visit classrooms to educate, engage, and inspire the next generation using creative learning experiences, and schools take trips to the Kimmel Center for live performances. The Kimmel Center is committed to educating Philadelphia's youth by providing access to quality arts. For more information, visit kimmelcenter.org.
We filmed 15 Pennsylvania kids who were all waiting to be adopted and asked what having a family and permanent home would mean to them.
I want a family just to accept me for who I am, to be there just to support me whenever I'm needing it.
To be matched with a family would be amazing. I won't be in a system all the time.
Visit adoptpakids.org to watch the video, meet the kids, and learn how you can become a foster or adoptive parent.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Drive in with the Rapping Professor, Dr. Aaron Smith. Drive home with Charles Ellison. This is Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Philadelphia, independent black media. Let's go! You're waking up with Word.
Waking up with Word, y'all!
With the Rapping Professor, Dr. Aaron Smith.
Get your weight up, and then we'll have a conversation
on Word Radio. Black Talk Media.
Black Talk Media, 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, WURDradio.com. Listen live anytime and log on. If you don't have that app, you know where to go. Download an app like you know me. I am the host of the show, Aaron Smith, the Rapping Professor. Queen Kawesa, super producer, put some respect on her name, and you are waking up with Word, y'all. One of the things I need to look at. The burial. Remember I was talking about stories that are relevant? The burial of stories that are relevant. I'm going to type in. I'm going to tell y'all what I'm doing right now. I'm going to do it right with y'all while I'm talking to y'all about what's going on. Amber Geiger, the officer that shot Botham Jean in the, in his apartment in Texas, in Dallas, right? And like there's certain stories that I'm noticing. I said it while that was happening. I was like, they're going to bury this one. And you don't hear nothing. I know there was a gag order in the case. I'm saying, but even around the case, like with Renee Hall or with Mike Rawlings, people associated and affiliated with you don't hear nothing right now. The last story I see is from April. And I'm like, yo, what is up? Amber Geiger resurfaces at the courthouse. That's the last we heard. And now it's just like, man. Another one that they're in the process of burying is this college bribe scandal. Remember, it was the widest spread college corruption scandal for admissions. It was national, and they suspected tons more people. They got these 15 people. They already talking about copping pleas, and they pleading guilty. And wait. You can't have gotten everybody. You didn't do any major sweep. You got the first layer. You telling me you caught everybody that's been bribing college admission people? Like this one guy was the only person that was a plug? There was no other plugs nationwide? No, they got. So this Amber Geiger story, Botham Jean, this story about the college bribery scandal. These are the stories I need. It's the follow up. They like getting us with the headlines, but not the follow up. And if you haven't heard, one of the in the latest nonsense, the Ingram Angle is a show on Fox by host Laura Ingram, and Laura Ingram is not just an owner of some of the biggest false teeth you've ever seen. Her veneers look like dominoes, but that's not what I came to talk to you about. Domino mouth. No, but the point I'm trying to make here is that Laura Ingram has been criticized and scrutinized because she jokingly talked about rapper Nipsey Hussle's funeral. And a lot of the rappers, should I say it? Should I say it? I'll let the audio play, and then there's some things that do need to be said. Let's hear Laura Ingram mocking the memorial of rapper Nipsey Hussle, the one that was known for giving back to his community and making a change from a gang life. And this is what Laura Ingram had to say about this brother as he was being laid to rest.
Yesterday in L.A., thousands lined the streets to say goodbye to rapper Nipsey Hussle. Now, this dear artist recently released a song called FDT. F Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. Yeah, Donald Trump. Yeah, Donald Trump. Yeah, Donald Trump. Yeah, Donald Trump.
Okay, now that's a very creative refrain.
Very catchy.
Very catchy.
Irving Berlin, look out.
Is it? It all began and ended with Irving Berlin for you, didn't it? Yeah. So the refrain, the chorus, it goes on and on. Is that related to the lowest unemployment ever, basically, for African Americans?
But at Hussle's funeral.
So they were just laughing. He went on to talk about his funeral and the people that were lining up to the funeral, and they just kept the banter going. What should I say? I'm thinking how I should tell the truth. I always tell the truth to y'all. There are videos of people like selling merchandise, basically bootleg merchandise of Nipsey Hussle's. You know, people do outside the games and outside of. There's something about this energy in the gang culture that I really am prayerful that the conscious community, the academic community, Well, a lot of times the street level grassroots organizations, they realize it. Because I see how y'all be crashing political events, and y'all be jumping on tables and taking stages and running up in court proceedings. So I know that y'all have a little bit of that edge. Y'all can respect the ratchet edge on the streets. But some of my I don't know, some of my academic colleagues, they would go out to the people with the bootleg stands, the gangbangers, and they would just take their merchandise. Because that's how things work when you have military might and you have military strategy and you have the willingness to enforce things militarily and other people aren't ready to reciprocate same. So normally, the what people do, they would say, hey, man, don't touch my stuff. Hey, I'll call the cops on you. But when these gangbangers came up, there's videos of it. They're just taking their stuff, putting it in their car. And they say, hey, man, on gang, on blood, I catch anybody out here selling Nipsey stuff, and I'm taking it, and I took their stuff. And I'm like, these Fox News people think that they dealing with the regular black people when they make jokes about people dying. You make jokes, they made jokes about Dr. King, they made some jokes about Tupac, right? Rapper dead, live by the gun, I remember all of that. I'm here to let people know, I'm doing a public service announcement right now. Y'all play with LA. Y'all joke about people like Nipsey Hussle, and I just want to be on record, on the air, saying this is a different type of black culture. This is not the type of culture that's going to sit idly by and let you mock people that they revere. And if you don't understand what I'm saying, when the next headline comes out, just know that the rapping professor Aaron Smith, who deals with hip-hop culture, who had people from Def Jam Records just in my classroom last week, I'm telling you, these young people are not the same young people that you used to making a mockery of Fox News. And if you, I remember when Ferguson went down. Remember when Geraldo went to Baltimore and they was grabbing his microphone, talking about, you don't represent us, get out of here, you only here for the bad stuff. There's a generation of people that are not for the play. So if you think you're going to joke about Nipsey Hussle being dead, then when people, this hour is brought to you by Power. Philadelphia, I'm telling you, you won't catch me on this mic joking about Nipsey Hussle. You won't catch me on this mic joking about Nipsey Hussle. Not one time ever, and I'm all the way in Philly. But it's that easy. So if Laura Ingraham and all them don't recognize how fluid the global community is right now, how easily people could be reached, keep joking, please. Keep the jokes going like it's Def Jam when Martin was hosting it. I can't wait to read the headline. Because I know better. And if you don't, domino teeth, keep it up. This hour is brought to you by Power. Philadelphians organized to witness, empower, and rebuild. They call me Domino. This hour is brought to you by Power. Philadelphians organized to witness, empower, and rebuild. For more information, visit powerinterfaith.org. Y'all play with the Crips if y'all want. Them Bloods and Crips is getting together. So y'all go ahead and y'all go ahead and give them reason. Y'all go ahead. Keep on joking. Keep on joking. Laura Ingraham mocking a murder victim. Angela Morabito puts on her Twitter. Here's Laura Ingraham mocking a murder victim just hours after he was laid to rest because he opposed Trump 3 years ago. And the funny part is, you know, it's YG and Nipsey on the song. They played the part when YG was rapping. That wasn't even Nipsey Hussle. That was like YG who does the chorus. Nipsey Hussle just appears on the record. It's YG's record. And it was 3 years ago. But they can play if they want. Because I think that's what... I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. I am going to say it. I don't think people understand that even with this police brutality thing, a lot of these gangsters are part of the reason why the reason why people park in the middle of the street in South Philly and the cops don't just ever be on camera going haywire, cracking heads in South Philly. There's a connection between the history of organized crime in South Philly and the fact that the cops know not to just go crack random heads because they might crack the wrong one. The reason why during the Rizzo, they would run up on Cecil B. Moore Avenue and say, if this corner ain't cleared, and sometimes that would be the only chance you get if you even get that chance. The reason why the Panthers being marched out, you know, sometimes without their clothes on, like the reason why people know who to play with and who not to play with. And Laura Ingraham don't seem to know who to play with. So if she ends up learning who not to play with, Brother Clyde from South Philly, thank you for waking up with word.
Brother Aaron, thanks for taking my call. You hit that on the head. I lived in L.A. It's not one place you want to play at. They play hardball.
And it's real life. It's not it's not a game. It's not just a fad.
Nah. Chicago and L.A., they play hardball. Just for your listeners, they play hardball. They really play hardball. And they comment about South Philly, absolutely, unequivocally true. Live in South Philly. They've been doing it for years. They still double parking. Even on Angle Parking, they still double parking.
Yeah, like they're daring the cops to do something.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Brother talked about, sister talked about the safe injection sites. You remember the show The Wire?
Yeah, yeah.
If we go back and review that, the most realest show ever on TV, never won an award. And if you, I applied what was going on back then, at that time, that was going on in the city, and you look at it now. You remember that episode of Amsterdam?
I don't know the episodes like that, but tell me.
They was pushing everybody, all the drug dealers, all the drug users in one section of the city, and the police was letting it go on.
Oh yeah,
that's what I'm looking at right now. Yeah, that's
I remember
what I'm
that
looking
theme
at right now. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now. I mean, I just tell people right now, go look at that series and apply everything right now, and tell me if everything ain't this stuff does not have a correlation. Art is imitating life to the thousand effect right now. Thank you for getting out the information, brother. It's like a lot of stories, like you said. I'm glad you highlighting it, that we forget about and that's not getting out there. And we got to pay attention. It's not being woke, it's being conscious right now.
Yeah.
Because they bombarding us in every direction. Even with the part about in a wire when they had the brother and he was buying up property and the towers came down. And just look around. All the projects is going. All the towers is going. It's, bro, we have got to pay attention. We have really got to pay attention to a lot of things. There's a lot of other things I wanted to say, but I know you got other callers, brother. But thanks for taking my call.
No, not a problem at all. Appreciate you, Brother Clyde.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, it's a lot of big stories, too. It's a lot of big moves going on, like you said, with the development and people literally seemingly conceding parts of the city to criminality. This is unprecedented. This is some escape from New York, The Wire. This is the Carter with Nino Brown in New Jack City, multiplied times a whole community. Like, when was law enforcement ever relegated to allowing criminality to occur for the sake? You know when they do that? During uprisings. Like in a riot, as they call it. That's when they say, keep them in their community, make sure they don't come downtown like they did in 1992 for Rodney King. Then they spun around and said, why they burn their own community? Because you cordoned them off in their own community. You blocked them from downtown districts, and you didn't let them enter the white spaces. That's why they burned their own community, and you know it because it was your plans, and you could listen to them on their own scanner and their radios saying, don't let them go down these streets and in these areas. Then man, people love to play. Y'all remember when, what was it Katrina? What was the one where they tried to cross the bridge and the white people was shooting them on the bridge? That was Katrina, right? I think during Katrina they had that bridge that the people, because the levees, when the levees broke, Spike Lee talked about it in his series as well. They had people defending their space when people were trying to cross the bridge to get to safety, and those people just shooting them down on that bridge. Major, but that's the only time people say keep it over there. But now we in a time of peace. You know, a time of crisis, but and we got people literally planning to make moves upon the premise of keep it over there, and having no consideration apparently from the voice of the people about the people who are over there. People like, yo, we live here. You talking about keep it over there, but there is here for us. There for you is here for us. And I just know there will be. Never even a conversation has been had about putting one of these safe injection sites on the main line. You're not going to have East Lancaster Avenue right behind the Whole Foods. Safe injection site. Get your kale chips and then get your heroin. Never. Hot yoga, dog grooming, safe injection site. Never. So I don't know. I don't know what I don't know. I don't know what did the Honorable Minister Farrakhan say in one speech? He was like talking about the pressures they were putting on black people. And he said something to the effect of, what do they want us to do? How do they expect us to respond to all that? Like, at what point would you not be surprised? Because you see the gangster community in L.A. uprising. I see people talking about councilmatic privilege and a distrust of political figures. I see the MOVE organization still being taunted and re-traumatized by people not giving retrials and naming streets. I see people keep ginning everybody up. And then you got me and other people like me, like the boy at the well, where the water's rushing through the crack in the dam, right? You know, the boy plugged up the hole with his finger and he couldn't move, in that story about the pike or whatever it is. And we got our fingers in all these holes trying to stop this levee from breaking, you know, this wall barrier from, like, at some point we got to get out the way, because y'all going to drown us. We're going to end up drowning trying to stave off, you know, the just due. You can't keep mistreating people and think nobody's ever going to approach you about anything. So y'all need to help me out. There's people like me that are trying to be the breach, the bridge, and trying to, you know, create a hedge of protection. And we trying to, oh, they not that bad and they not all bad, and give it some time, and we could vote. And at some point, you know, the referee back up. So I'm refereeing big time right now, because y'all keep developing and talking about injection sites. I didn't hear one person call me the whole school year and say, we're going to make sure these young people have jobs. None of you called and said that. I'm talking nice. I'm making jokes. I'm working with you. I'm promoting agendas. I'm saying we can get the books for them. Anybody want to call me? I'll go out there and help. Let's get these young people these books they need that can transform people's lives, and yada, yada, yada. And all I hear is what people are developing and who's running, and are you going to give the people jobs? Don't tell me if they outside the Pearl Theater fighting. Don't tell me they're on South Street running around. What the heck do you think they're going to do? They children. They're going to run and play and do things. And if you give them nothing to do, they'll do worse things. Look at the example from Mayor Marion Barry in D.C. when he made sure that all the young people in D.C. had those summer jobs, when he had those programs. If you're not trying to do something like that, miss me with the headlines. When it go buck wild and it blow up in your face, do not call me. I'm not doing damage control for that. You're going to get challenging questions. Because I'm going to be like, why are you calling now? I told you 2 months ago, Marion Barry had a great program. We not even hearing it. We hearing about people cleaning up, building playgrounds, getting some of the asbestos out the school. Mary from Nicetown, thank you for waking up with Word.
Good morning, Dr. Aaron Smith.
Good morning.
And the Queen Louisa. I just want to ask a question. I'm a little curious. I remember back there during the days when they were building up Rite Aids all over the Philadelphia. You know, they're all over everywhere. You look, you see a Rite Aid. And if you check it out, the Ed Rendells and the likes of, they own stock in those Rite Aids in Philadelphia. So naturally, they're pushing those drug sites, because won't they have to get their medication and stuff from drugstores for those people that have to use that?
Say that last part again.
Will the people who like the drug sites, they have to get the drugs from drugstores, right? You know, legal, even marijuana and all. Won't the druggists have to have something to do with that?
I don't know. Eventually, maybe. I don't know what the plan is, the long-term plan, as far as any potential cooperation.
The reason why they're pushing it's okay for that to happen is because most of those drugstores in Philadelphia owned by the Ed Rendells and all up down Broad Street, like Broad and Rising Sun, all up and down Broad Street. He has stock in those, and I'm quite sure the likes of him. So that's why they're pushing them too, because they're going to benefit. And I don't go for it myself, and I just wanted to let it be known that a lot of those drugstores are owned by people who are pushing that.
No, I hear you. No, thank you for your call.
All right. Have a good day.
You too. Gary from Southwest.
Good morning, Professor, and Queen Kuwaisa. Thanks for taking my call. You know, Professor, I'm listening to your discussion, and I kind of feel we've reached a point where the pot boiling and it's getting ready to explode, something like what you were alluding to, because we're getting sick and tired of being sick and tired. And these elected officials, the ones in this city in particular, I don't see where they're doing really that much for us. I just wanted to ask the question, how many of them that are running for office have advertised with Word?
I'm not sure. I can look into it, though, to give you all the stats. I'm about to talk to sales.
I want to know how many of them are advertising, putting their
money where their mouth is,
campaign on the air. Okay, they come on. They know what's happening in this state. We're being neglected.
Oh, your connection is a little bad. You might have to call back. Gary, feel free to call back, and I'll definitely get you on. Let me give you a little background about this thing I'm talking about. Because the thing about D.C., they still doing the program with Mayor Bowser. This is just on January 17, 2019. Mayor Bowser kicks off application period for 2019 Mayor Marion S. Barry Summer Youth Employment Program. It says, today, the application period for the youth program kicked off. 2019 Mayor Marion S. Barry Summer Youth Employment Program beginning at 12 p.m. District youth ages 14 to 24 and employers may apply online, blah, blah, blah. From a young age, Marion Barry understood the importance of financial responsibility, independence, and a strong work ethic. And for 40 years, the SYEP program has embodied those values, said Mayor Bowser, since 1979. Coming into office, I was happy to build on Mayor Barry's legacy by expanding the program and creating new opportunities for more young Washingtonians to find their pathway to the middle class. Established in 1979 by Mayor Marion S. Barry, MBSYEP is a locally funded initiative that provides young people in D.C. with 6 weeks of enriching and constructive summer work experience through subsidized placements in the private and public sectors. The program partners with hundreds of D.C. employers who are uniquely positioned to provide relevant training and guidance to D.C.'s youth in order to help them develop the positive work habits and job skills necessary to secure future employment. MBSYEP strives to provide district youth with the opportunity to earn money and gain meaningful work experience, to learn and develop the skills, attitudes, and commitment necessary to succeed in today's workforce, to gain exposure to various exciting careers, industries, and interact with dynamic working professionals in a positive work environment. In 2018, nearly 11,000 young Washingtonians participated in MBSYEP. This is a well-funded program. 11,000 people in D.C. working with more than 1.3 million total hours. 1.3 million total hours. This is just a 6 weeks. In recent years, the program rolled out Career Edge and Java Talks, new technology platforms that allow participants to use their mobile devices to complete professional development sessions, practice job interviews, and connect with employers. They're using the technology. They got the funding from the city. They're getting over 11,000 people involved, 1.3 million hours. I'm saying, call and talk about how you are doing one better. Remember how Atlanta had a whole Meek Mill's day and then Philly tried to come late and do a Meek Mill weekend? That's what we need to do. We need to say, oh, that's what y'all doing in D.C.? Watch what we do in Philly. Watch how we get 15,000 young people with 2 million and hours, and we're going to use some of this sugary drink money. No, you ain't going to grind me up. You ain't going to do me like that. You ain't gonna have me doing all the work. I'm trying to be the one that makes all the sense and be nice to all the people. And I'm the one that's actually out in the community that they actually see. Meanwhile, you just sitting up there talking, trying to get voted in and never even mention a youth program of this magnitude or even a plan for it in the future. But you want to call up and talk about all the violence. And then you want to, on the news, on the TV, who got shot. Don't tell me who got shot. Tell me who ain't got a job. Because there's a definite correlation. I'm Aaron Sheets Kawesa. You're waking up with Word, y'all.
Now, a Word Radio weather update. Here's NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Brittany Ship.
It is a chilly start to our spring morning on this Tuesday, but our temperatures will push into the mid-60s. A round of sunshine and breezy conditions will stick with us into the afternoon. Tomorrow, similar conditions expected, and then slightly warmer weather is on the way for Thursday. We head into the 70s in Philadelphia, low 60s down the shore. Make sure you download our NBC 10 app so you can take your weather forecast with you on the go.
Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM. WURD.
Hey loves, this message is for parents and grandparents. I want to talk to you about your kids and the schools they attend every day. Is something wrong? Are the programs and classes letting both of you down? Does your child struggle with reading and basic math? Is the inflexible schedule of your elementary, middle, or high school turning your world upside down? Is your child being bullied or intimidated on a daily basis at school? If some of these questions apply to you, maybe it's time to contact Commonwealth Charter Academy. CCA is a public cyber charter school exclusively serving students in Pennsylvania, grades K through 12, at no cost to families. CCA provides internet service reimbursement and a laptop, all at no cost to families. Check out their open house today, April 16th in Norristown. Visit ccaeducate.me today for details. That's ccaeducate.me.
Register to vote by April 22nd, keeping you informed. This is Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia. Streaming live at wordradio.com. Now, a traffic update on Word Radio.
Busy ride still here in Philadelphia. Report sponsored by eBay. Blue Route 476 northbound jam 95 to McDade. Accident there off to the shoulder. Southbound heavy mid-county through the Schuylkill. Again, Route 1 Amelia Swarthmore. 95 southbound. That remains a jam ride this morning from Cottman down through Girard. Northbound delays Island Avenue through Broad Street. Again, Cottman through Academy. Schuylkill Expressway eastbound 202 to Gulf Mills. You're jammed. Then you're jammed from the Blue Route to Belmont. Accident there off to the right. Jammed again the Boulevard to the Vine. Westbound. That jams past Young to the Vine. Again, the Boulevard through Belmont back to the eastbound side. That jams now between 28th and Passyunk because of an accident there. Vine Expressway westbound, 95 out through the Schuylkill Expressway. Jam there now because of a crash. 95 looking at 42 northbound, Blackwood Clementon to 295, heavy 55 jam Deptford to 42. Ben Franklin Bridge still busy midspan into Center City. You know that when you're shopping, you find that absolutely perfect thing, the feeling you get. Then you see the price and you're like, that's how much? Then you get sad and eat a donut, but did you check eBay? eBay has the thing you want for the price you want. For more traffic information, log on to SigAlert.com. Jim Bachman with the Philadelphia area traffic.
Let's go! You're waking up with Word.
Waking up with Word, child.
On Word Radio. Black Talk Media.
Black Talk Media, 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, WURDradio.com. Listen live anytime and log on. If you don't have the app, then you know where to go. Down to download app like you know. I am the host of the show, Aaron Smith, the rap professor. Queen Kawesa, super producer. Put some respect on her name. Charles from Camden, New Jersey. Thank you for waking up with Word.
Good morning, my brother.
Good morning, Charles.
I'd like to say good morning to all your listening audience. I'd like to say to you, my people, God have made the young people today warriors. You don't have no fear in them like you did back in the day, or even now. I come on the radio all the time and beg you, religious teachers, bring our children into your place and teach them a trade, get them jobs. My wife and I, for 6 years, 2005 to 2011, paid every Monday night and gave out jobs and paid and begged the religious teachers. Same thing I'm saying about getting our children up. And I'd like to say to you, you young soldiers, don't be like the old soldier did. Don't tell nobody nothing. Think about shit. Whatever you do, don't talk about it. Because if you do tomorrow morning, I'll be knocking on your door. Real good. God will bless you. This is our day now. God will bless you. Okay, He's going to bring more rain, hail, snow, and earthquake, and fire. You going to catch it up. And you getting it right now. Thank you, my brother, and y'all have a beautiful day.
Thank you so much, your brother Charles. And I think it's a mark of a changing guard. I know that when Dr. King, was talking about the bombing at the Birmingham church, it was a pivotal moment for a lot of people who are tired of just talking and just singing, and it made the way, for other incidents to spark greater interest in the approach of Stokely Carmichael, like when he ended up, yelling about Black Power. It was just a time that had come. It was nothing against Dr. King, and it was just, it was actually a wake-up call for many people who aligned themselves with Dr. King that the temperature of the community had shifted to some extent, and there was a certain energy that was moving throughout the consciousness and the spirit of the people that just wasn't being connected with by those in the highest rungs of power. And I think we've reached a similar crossroads, politically, culturally, institutionally, and theoretically. People who are out on the streets every day, and I remember getting most of my information from going outside. And there's still people that are like that. They go outside. They got phones, but I mean, they go outside and they kind of feel what's going on. You know? Who got a job, who's graduating, who got pregnant, who got shot, who's moving out, who's moving in. They kind of, you know what it is when you really getting community news. And I remember turning on my TV every night, and I remember that the disparity between what was going on in local communities and the ways that it was packaged and manufactured, especially by traditional white media outlets. I was like, I mean, there was a movie called Boys in the Hood. Remember at the end of the movie when Ice Cube was talking to Cuba Gooding Jr. on the steps, and he about to go to Morehouse, and she about to go to Spelman, and he was like, either they don't know, they don't show, or just don't care what's going on. Like, you know, he said all these write-ups, not one thing about my brother, right, getting shot. And he's like, yo, they just out of touch. And he said either they don't know, don't show, or just don't care about what's going on in the hood. And we've reached a point now where it's like when people talk about their campaigns and their groups and their LLCs and their nonprofits and their corporations, and you could tell the difference between those people and the people that call up like, yo, my cousin got killed, or I just came home after 20 years. It's like two separate worlds. The reason why people enjoy listening to me is because I speak to both of them. That's the reason. I'll shout out the Christian Church of Philadelphia, the Triumph Baptist Church. I'll shout out all the institutions from Mosque Number 12, Herbert E. Millen, Masonic Lodge 151. A salute and shouts out to the Montgomery County chapter of Jack and Jill. Oh, yes, I love you all, and I'm with you, and I understand you, and I'm a member, and it's just so beautiful to be affiliated with you. But I also know. It's beautiful to be able to see both sides of a coin, you know. Because I carried my access card for a good year and a half after I needed it. I just kept it in my wallet. I was like, don't never forget. They was like, oh, you want it? I said, no, I just keep it with me. I just keep it with me. Casa Who from Templetown.
Good morning, Rapping Professor.
Good morning.
Listen, I cannot believe with all these expertise and knowledge that you got and you're running it, that you never use the word unity. You know doggone well, with all these problems that the dark-skinned people are having in Philadelphia and Pennsylvania and throughout America, that is not going to move unless we unify. We're all one family anyway. All dark-skinned people came out the same house. We're all cousins to one another, and I can't believe how we got all this gifted and intellect, and we never going to say the word unity. I don't care about that our adversary. We need to unify.
You said I don't
care.
You said I don't say. You said I don't say unity.
You never use that word that much.
Well, you said never, then you said not that much. That's a big difference.
Yeah, it's a big difference.
So which one are you saying? I'm gonna give you another chance.
I never heard you use it with all your.
Okay, so now you're saying you never heard me use it. Okay, so let me state for the record, and for those that listen regularly, it's the theme of my rhetoric. I just said that I identify with Jack and Jill in the Masonic Lodge, and I also said I know how it means to have an access card, so that's a unifying message. I'm saying I understand both worlds. I'm saying I'm a bridge. Bridges connect things. Maybe you missed it because it was thematic and I didn't use a literal word, but the entire theme of my rhetoric is always the fact that I identify with people from different walks of life, and I bring them together. So, brother, when you say that I don't say unity, I have to say you have to stand corrected, sir.
Okay, you say unity in another way, but
I also say the word unity too. I've said it many times. You just wasn't listening those days, but it's cool.
But come on. I mean, I've been on the battlefield all my life, and the brothers and sisters that stood next to me, we didn't get into who or what affiliation was you. We all fighting the same enemy for the same reason to get the same result, and we still divided. And we need to be unified so we can forge our rightful place and lineage and heritage and rights to this government. Because
so what did you hear today that made you think that you're not saying the exact same thing I'm saying?
What I heard today was paramount. I mean, Mary from Mount Airy, what you're saying, but I don't never see the unity. I don't never see the behind the curtain unity. I don't never see us coming together. We fighting each other because you African American, this one indigenous, this one is a Baptist. Willie Lynch is still kicking.
I didn't hear any theological designations or even geographical designations with regards to being continental or Caribbean or diaspora. I didn't hear any of that today. I don't know what show you're referring to, but I didn't hear Mary from Mount Airy. I didn't hear Gary Charles. I didn't hear anybody talk about where they're from or how they prayed today. I don't know.
That's what I'm talking about. We never look at where the rubber meets the road and battle. We all the same.
Thank you. Appreciate your call. Think we've exhausted. Okay, Mo from North Philly. Thank you for waking up a word.
Yeah, good morning, bro.
Good morning.
Yeah, first of all, you gotta ask yourself the question, right? If they're gonna have these safe injection sites, that means somebody gotta be delivering the dope to these people. Why aren't they arrested? If you're gonna arrest Billie Holiday and call her a felon and take a cabaret license for the use of heroin, why aren't you locking these people up for doing the same thing? And if you look at it, I played in the shooting gallery when I was 8 years old, back in 1965. And my parents explained to me, you can't play in there because you're using drugs. And at that time, you used dope. You was called a dope fiend. Okay, you weren't opiate addicted because you was white. But you look at the correlation. In 1965, boots hit the ground in Vietnam under Johnson. And the drug of the street became heroin. As the war waned down in around 1974, with the issue in the disco era, then the drug became cocaine. Because Laos, Cambodia, and Vietnam was known as the Golden Drug Triangle. That's where they was getting their heroin from. Now, you're in Afghanistan. There's no accident that heroin is the king of the street because we're in Afghanistan. They're not in there to fight terrorism. They're in there to make money. And we don't see it. See, there's nowhere in the world, man, that the dope can be delivered to these places, man. The cops got to be protecting them or they got to be selling it. The government got to be involved in it. One night when I was with Dick Gregory, I said to Dick, I said that movie Denzel Washington played in was a lie, wasn't it? He jumped. He said, what you mean? I said, nowhere in the world a black man will bring all that amount of heroin in this country without the government help. And he said, you're right. He said, Lucas never worked anywhere, but he get a pension. How is that? See, they bring this stuff in here. And there's no accident, man, that this dope, just like with the shooting in the street. How do these boys get off 100 rounds in broad daylight and there's no cops around? You mean tell me you got to be in a Dunkin' Donuts to get help? You got to get shot in one of them? Maybe they're in there hiding somewhere. See, it's no accident, brother. You cannot sell, like Malcolm said, you can't sell dope anywhere in this country without the white man's permission. And Ross, all of them need to do their job, start arresting, because if you have a safe injection site, that means somebody's going to be delivering them the dope. Now, if they deliver the dope, then arrest the people who bring the dope in. And when you arrest them, you'll find out that he's working for big business, man. There's no accident that they're pushing this nonsense in there. And I'm going to end with this here. The other day, I was listening to this Catholic station, and they had this guy named Mark Schultz. He teaches at Lewis University, and they were talking about reparations. Every last one of the white people that called in was against reparation. I'm not surprised. And then one broad called in, she supposed to be half white and Native American, and she said, well, I don't believe, I'm an Indian, I don't believe we should get reparations either. And then one lady called in talking about, well, what about the Union soldiers who fought in the Civil War to free the slaves. Shouldn't their family get reparations? And I wanted to call in and try to get in, but I couldn't, and let her know that the Union soldiers fought for Lincoln to preserve the Union.
Yeah.
And Lincoln was a racist.
Yeah.
He was a separatist. He got all of the black leaders back then. This is how he got the honest aid. He took all of the Negro leaders at that time to the White House after the Civil War was over, and he told them, he said, nowhere in the history of the world had the slaves made the slave, that the slave masters ever make the slaves equal to them after freeing them. And he said, I, as a white man, want the superior position for me and my people. He said, as I look down the tunnel of time, I see trouble brewing between the two races. So it's best that we separate. If we sing back to Africa, South America, the Caribbean, or country equal climate, or we give you all the land mass between the two mountain ranges in America. And them Negroes said, with all due respect, we'd rather be part of the American political process. But he wanted to separate. But white folks don't see it. They got a distorted view of history. And they're against reparations. That's why, brothers, when these storms hit this country and tear them devils up, I don't feel sorry for them. Just like when that cathedral got burned up yesterday. I don't feel sorry for them devils over it, because when they dropped the bomb on Move, it was a joke. The roof was on fire. They were singing that. Now their roof caught on fire. Look at all the dirt France did around the world. Look how they went into Vietnam. If they had kept their word with Ho Chi Minh during World War II, all those students that went to Edison would not have got killed. There wouldn't have been no American involvement in Vietnam. But after they kicked the Japanese out, they told Ho Chi Minh to turn his weapons over, and they gave it back to French rule. That's why Ho Chi Minh waged the war, guerrilla warfare, and he met at the Battle of Dien Bien Phu, and they finally kicked the French out. But look what they did.
I hear you.
I'm going to get in with this. Vietnam was the third rice-producing country in the world. But every morning you wake up, you find Vietnamese people in the street who died overnight of a starvation. And it's a document in 1983 series they did on the Vietnam War. They say it was so bad over there that the Vietnamese people had to eat rats to survive, man. That's all they had.
No, appreciate you. Appreciate you, Brother Mo. Got to take a break and come back with an interview that a lot of y'all have been talking about the subject today, so this should be good. Maybe I'll get on the phone line to comment after the interview. And we're going to talk to Courtenay Harris-Bond, freelance journalist, covers behavioral health, social justice, and family life. She's also a mental health fellow with Carter Fellows. She joins us today to talk about a recent article. Some of y'all can probably look up the article over the break as well. Why are Kensington residents so opposed to the city's alternative to open-air drug activity? And we got the community on the line, and we got the voice of the other side coming on the line as well. So this should be a great conversation on the other side. You're waking up with word, y'all.
The Source.
The Source.
Weekdays 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Special guest host Renee Patan every Monday in April.
The Source. Exclusively on Word Radio and WordRadio.com.
Did you know that cigarette smoke isn't the only smoke that leads to cancer? Whether it's from a hookah, cigar, cigarillo, or cigarette, where there's smoke, there's danger. To learn more and for help quitting today, visit smokefreephilly.org/danger.
This is Cody Anderson. Palace Travel provided me with one of the most memorable trips I've taken to Ghana, West Africa. Palace Travel specializes in tours to Africa, including Ghana, Senegal, and South Africa. Throughout the year, Palace Travel has scheduled trips to Africa, including the next Panafest celebration in Ghana, July 2019. The trip of a lifetime, the historic return of the African diaspora after 400 years in the Americas, August 5th to 14th. Africa's improvement on Coachella, the annual Afrochella Festival in Ghana, December 27th to January 3rd. Ring in the new year in Ghana. Call Palace Travel to reserve your place on one of their scheduled Africa trips with convenient payment plans. Call Palace Travel today at 215-471-8555 or visit their website at palacetravel.com.
Be heard. Want another way to join the conversation?
Follow us on social media
using the hashtag onWURD.
Be heard.
Stay connected to Word Radio.
Independent Black Media.
We filmed Pennsylvania adoptive families and asked them why more people need to become foster or adoptive parents.
As a society, we have a responsibility to make sure every kid gets from being a kid to being a responsible adult.
I would encourage anybody to do it. You get so much more out of it than you expect.
Visit adoptpakids.org to watch the video, meet the kids, and learn how you can become a foster or adoptive parent.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
What's cheesy, topped with a fluffy egg and crisp applewood smoked bacon? Easy. McDonald's new $2 breakfast deal. For a limited time, get a flaky bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit for just $2. And if you're craving something savory and sweet, get a delicious bacon, egg, and cheese McGriddles for the same price. Hurry in and bite into this tasty deal any day of the week. Only at McDonald's. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal for a limited time only.
You're waking up with Word with the Rapping Professor, Dr. Aaron Smith, on Word Radio.
Black Talk Media.
Black Talk Media, 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, WURDradio.com. Listen live anytime and log on. I am Aaron Smith. She is Queen Kawesa. Check us out on Facebook at 4Word. We got Word TV going live for Word on Facebook. Okay, Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr at onWURD. At this time, go to the phone lines. Brother Ron from North Philly. Then we're going to get into our interview.
Yes, I'll do it real quick.
No problem.
I heard the gentleman say that we need to come together. We have been saying that for quite some time. And even at a time like this, we may not have the numbers that we would like to see come together, but people are coming together. Look at you at Temple University. Look at all the work that people are doing throughout the city to do for the greater good. So any good that it can be for the greater good is coming together for the greater good. So when I say what we say, when we look at ourselves, and I always ask myself, not against this man, Ron, what am I doing to make it better? If we got two or three, the scripture talks about it, where two or three come together in the name of goodness, we can make it work. And when we look at this country, if you seen the other day, sir, this is, I think it's Wachovia Bank, one of them banks, and they're saying there's a group of people in this country that we was here before them in reference to, that they're going to make sure that that community is going to get resources. So my question I ask, is it because we have become complacent? Have we let paralysis set in? And we have forgotten the significance of demanding? We can march all we want. If you're not doing a tactical approach, like something like Gandhi did, going in there and filibustering within those offices there and demanding, then you're not going to, it's going to be difficult. And remember, it have always been a small group of people. I don't like that word minority. It have always been a small group of people have made a difference in this country for us all. And that's all right, because everybody don't think together. And I set up with these words. I reminded a group of people that always, when I'm out here struggling like many others are doing, and they tell me that I'm in this world but not of this world, but everything that we fight for, the greater good of the city and the greater good of the country, they benefit by it. So their conscience, I hope their conscience bothers them.
Thank you, Brother Ron. And also on the line at this time, Courtney Harris Bond, freelance journalist, here to talk about the article, Why Kensington Residents Are So Opposed to the City's Alternative to Open-Air Drug Activity. Welcome to the program and talking about this hot topic. Good morning.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Now, for those who haven't been able to read the article yet, or they might just be logging on to find it, where can they find the article first off?
Oh, at PhiladelphiaWeekly.com.
PhiladelphiaWeekly.com, and they could just type in your name or type in.
And it'll show right up. It's the top story right now.
Oh, got you. Okay, top story. And tell us about this article.
So this story came out of neighborhood resistance to the proposed opening of a supervised injection facility in Kensington. And I talked to a lot of residents about their feelings on the topic.
And what was the findings?
Well, the findings were a lot of negative response. People are worried that it will not help the problem, that it will increase like dealer presence in a certain part of the, where the location is, wherever it ends up being, that people are concerned. They don't want it in their backyard. They already have enough problems. So those sorts of reactions were what I was getting.
And in terms, I see in one of the quotes talk about the police officers says, I would like right now if I can go lay up somewhere safe, but these cops just want to grab anyone to make a collar. What will be the relationship, if you have any understanding of law enforcement, to these safe injection sites? Because, I mean, technically the cops could just stand right outside the safe injection sites, knowing that everybody who's walking in is guilty of possession. So how do they navigate, you know, the politics of the safe injection site? Like, what is the spaces around there that could be protected, considered, or?
Yeah, so I'm not exactly sure how it will work, but I do know for a fact that the Philadelphia Police Department has been working very closely with outreach workers in Kensington to try to help people and try to divert people into treatment rather than making collars, so to speak. So I think that there would be some sort of, you know, situation worked out where they wouldn't be trying to work against the supervised injection facility, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, definitely. It's just at some point in the process of the transport, sale, and usage, the acts go from being illegal to protected. And I guess that's like my curiosity. At what point does this become a legally protected act, and at what point in the process? Because so if I transport it and I'm going to that area, of course I'd get arrested. If I'm selling it to you on the corner near the safe injection site, do you run up and tackle us? If you observe or come late but you know what just happened, do you grab the person as they walk down the street when you know what they have and know where they're going? Do you wait outside? Like, at what point do you say it's okay that he was just sold drugs because he's walking to the safe injection site, or I suspect that person has drugs on them, but the reason I suspect is because they're walking into the safe injection site. Like, so normally you'd say, can I talk to you for a minute, you know, get against the wall or something like that, but now you just let them walk in, I guess, because you know where they're going.
Such a tricky issue, and I think it's one of the big things that needs to be worked out with this issue, and it's causing people a lot of consternation and concern. And I think users are wary because they feel like the police will just, as this guy said, collar them, you know, if they're making their way to a supervised injection facility. But, you know, there's a lot of need out there for a safe place where users can get wraparound medical treatment, links to treatment if they want it. And it would bring some of the use indoors into a safe and clean environment. And so I think that's what sort of proponents are arguing.
I see a lot of people were interviewed for the article. Did anybody note the gross disparity in the ways that this is being handled versus the disproportionately African-American crack epidemic of the 80s and early 90s? Yeah,
so nobody noted that in this particular article, but that's been a huge issue, you know, in general in the media, and in the discussion that, oh, now we care because it's white people dying. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, I do. Yeah. So there's a lot of, I've definitely heard that over and over, and that's definitely an issue. Is there any response to that from those who are in favor of the safe injection site? Well, I think that the people in favor of the safe injection site say that it's legitimate medical intervention and that their religious beliefs compel them to save lives. So they're not discriminating against, you know, what lives they're saving. They just want to save lives in general. But, I mean, was there any comments from that community, like, where was your religion then? Yeah, I haven't personally had any comments from that community recently about that, but, you know, that's a really good question, and I should be asking that more, to be honest. I think that's just a big sticking point. I think that's part of one of the obstacles to larger degrees of progress. A lot of the lack of cooperation, I think it deals in some regard to how
people don't feel as though they were treated the same way as far as their community. And also, I don't think a lot of people, that from what I've heard today, feel as though that they would do this in other communities. I commented earlier, I don't think there's any plans for a safe injection site on East Lancaster Avenue on the main line ever, regardless of how many people. They could be droves of people dying like Night of the Walking Dead, or they would not build one there. I've lived there, so I know for a fact that is not, you know, so I think the hypocrisy is the biggest stumbling block. I think the difference in treatment is why we can't even save lives of people who desperately need the help, because the hypocrisy, it's a barrier to more productive lines of communication.
Yeah, and as we know, addiction doesn't discriminate, and there are lots of people on the main line using and maybe just out of sight in their home. And they could benefit from a supervised injection facility just as much as anybody else. So there are people who are saying, well, why aren't you building them elsewhere and showing, you know, that they work, and then coming to Kensington? Like, why us first?
And is there any response from the political community about why they chose the area?
Well, the area, so I should say this really loud and clear. Safe House, the nonprofit that's pushing to open the supervised injection facility, is assuring the public that there is nothing that has been decided yet about a location. And that there will be many, many more discussions with the community before anything happens. That there is, you know, there is a possible location on Hilton Street just off Kensington Avenue that apparently, you know, former Governor Ed Rendell announced that a developer had donated for $1. But we do not know if that's where it will actually end up. There is nothing settled at this point, and that is very loud and clear from the advocates for the supervised injection facility. So people should keep that in mind. I just think there's a lot of panic and anger and frustration out there right now.
And what do you think the panic is about? Just about the potential for increased crime?
Yes, increased crime, increased violence in the area. You know, like what if somebody doesn't have the money to pay their dealer, and then something happens around the site? You know, things like that. That's what I'm hearing loud and clear.
Now, are there conversations about increased police presence, since we know that that is part of the concern? Like, I've only heard a fairly narrow description of what plans to be done. I hear about the injection site and what it can do for people in need of that kind of assistance, but I don't hear a lot about how the community, you know, will be compensated in terms of increased protections to ease some of their concerns. I never heard about increased police presence, but I have heard about concerns about increased crime. Is that a conversation being had?
That's a conversation being had, and I think that that's something that will be an ongoing conversation, and people in the community need to hear more about that. They're very concerned about that.
And is there any discussion about an exit strategy?
In terms, and what? I'm
like
sorry,
we build safe injection sites. People use drugs safely. But if the goal is to stop people from using drugs or to one day not need the injection sites, I figure there'd be a long-term strategy in place to make sure or ensure this is a temporary remedy and not just a shift in, you know, our city. Is there a discussion about how long they plan to do this, or is it just?
Yeah, I haven't heard discussion about that. I'm sorry, I can't answer that question definitively for you. But I think once the overdose, the number of people dying from, you know, overdose, toxic drug overdose deaths, then I think there would be less need for a supervised injection facility.
What are the numbers currently in terms of the daily or yearly victims of overdose as a result?
Yeah, so in 2017, more than 1,200 people died of drug overdose deaths in Philadelphia County, and it was slightly fewer than that in 2018, but the numbers, it's still way too high, you know. So it's pretty extreme. Philadelphia is like one of the highest in the country in terms of overdose deaths at this point.
If you're just tuning in, we're talking to Courtney Harris Bond, freelance journalist. The article, Why Are Kensington Residents So Opposed to the City's Alternative to Open-Air Drug Activity? And one more time, where can they find the article?
They can find it on PhiladelphiaWeekly.com.
And where could they follow your other work or follow you on social media?
Oh, yeah. I'm at C. Harris Bond as my Twitter handle.
All right. No, and I thank you for such an extensive article. I see that, there's a lot of different perspectives in the article, and I do appreciate the depth of the read, and I encourage people to go ahead and check it out. And I thank you so much for joining us today on Wake Up with Word.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Take care.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
We're going to take a quick break, come back, and have our, little debrief. The people call in, 215-634. No? Oh, we got another interview. Look at me. Well, after the interview, then we're going to wrap it all up together. But Dr. Yaba Blay, creator and curator of the Professional Black Girl Digital Community. She returns to the second season of her original video series, Professional Black Girl, created to celebrate every day around the way. Hashtag Black Girl Magic. We're going to talk to Dr. Yaba Blay on the other side. I'm Aaron. She's Kawesa. You're waking up with Word, y'all. This hour is brought to you by Power. Philadelphians organize, witness, empower, and rebuild. For more information, visit powerinterfaith.org.
The Source.
The Source.
Weekdays 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Special guest host Renation Platan every Monday in April.
The Source. Exclusively on Word Radio and WordRadio.com.
1 in every 4 of us can't make ends meet. We can keep pre-K for our children and still get rid of that ridiculous soda tax. Drug injection sites are not safe, and someone gets killed almost every day in Philadelphia. From poverty to potholes, we can do better. I am Anthony Hardy Williams, and I have been listening to you.
We can move Philadelphia forward together. Vote Anthony Hardy Williams for mayor. Paid for by Williams for mayor.
Hey loves, this message is for parents and grandparents. I want to talk to you about your kids and the schools they attend every day. Is something wrong? Are the programs and classes letting both of you down? Does your child struggle with reading and basic math? Is the inflexible schedule of your elementary, middle, or high school turning your world upside down? Is your child being bullied or intimidated on a daily basis at school? If some of these questions apply to you, maybe it's time to contact Commonwealth Charter Academy. CCA is a public cyber charter school exclusively serving students in Pennsylvania, grades K through 12 at no cost to families. CCA provides internet service reimbursement and a laptop, all at no cost to families. Check out their open house today, April 16th in Norristown. Visit ccaeducate.me today for details. That's ccaeducate.me.
Cremations Are Us by Sabbath highlights the same game with a different name. Since 1992, Walter E. Sabbath Jr. Funeral Service has valued individuals and families who choose cremation. Our 26 years of experience have shown us that they have the same needs as those who choose burial. Our new component, Cremations Are Us, emphasizes the wide selection of services we have always offered. Visit our website, www.sabbathcare.com, for details, or call 215-924-4101. We will be looking forward to hearing from you.
We are progressive and proud and interactive. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at onWURD. This is Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia. Streaming live at wordradio.com. Let's go! You're waking up with Word.
Waking up with Word, y'all.
With the rapping professor, Dr. Aaron Smith.
Get your weight up.
And then we'll have a conversation on Word Radio. Black Talk Media.
Black Talk Media, 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, WURDradio.com. Listen live anytime and log on. If you know the app, you know where to go. Download an app like you know. I'm Aaron Smith, the rapping professor. She is Queen Kawesa, the super producer. This just in, since we were talking about fires, in the case of those 3 black churches that burned recently, says the sheriff's deputy's son, who is accused of burning 3 black churches, will face hate crime charges. Tess Owens for Vice News reports. The white man who burned down 3 historically black churches over the recent 10-day period in Louisiana was motivated by racism, state prosecutor said Monday. Holden Matthews, 21, who is the son of a sheriff deputy in St. Landry Parish, is now facing hate crime charges on top of the arson charges slapped on him for his arrest last Thursday. Matthews pleaded not guilty to all charges. Upon Matthews' arrest, Louisiana Fire Marshal Butch Browning said that law enforcement moved quickly after identifying him as a subject. We saw an imminent threat to public safety. We saw other crimes were imminent. So he was not finished. On the line at this time, we have an interview with Dr. Yaba Blay. Welcome to the program. For those that don't know, she's the creator and curator of the Professional Black Girl digital community, returning with the second season of her original video series, Professional Black Girl. Welcome to the show, Dr. Blay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Thank you. Tell us about this series for those that are late and just now getting on board with the second season.
Well, Professional Black Girl is like a conversation with your homegirl. And so it's really me exploring the city of New Orleans with this season through 12 women who I call professional black girls. And so professional has something to do with their profession, but it really has more to do with the level and the extent to which they are committed to representing black women and girls and black girl culture.
Now, what made you want to start this?
You know, I'm just a creative person, and so it was just one of those bright ideas that came to me. Not anything that I intended to create necessarily, but it kind of became a thing. And I just started using the hashtag on Instagram because one of the things that brings me joy in my scrolling is seeing black women and black girls do what we do, especially little black girls when they dance. And so I started using the hashtag as a way to kind of like crown her, to give her her trophy, to say like the level to which she's doing the thing is professional.
And tell us some about the success stories, because I know sometimes people talk about like the transformative potential of programs like this. Can you tell us one of the testimonials you may have heard about some people who really benefited from the program and let you know how impactful it was on their lives?
I mean, really, most of the consistent feedback that I get from women is just kind of like, thank you for giving us permission to be free, essentially. Like, someone to see them. And I think that what ultimately we want is acceptance for all of who we are, that we don't only want to be the woman who gets X amount of, you know, awards for this or is recognized for that. That's even just looking at who we are, that we become recognized for that. And so really the most consistent feedback has been of thanks.
Well, I thank you for representing Temple University so well. You know, I'm currently, you know, a professor in the Department of Africology, as we call it now, in African American Studies. Yes, and I know that you received your doctoral degree in African American Studies from Temple University. So whenever I you know, see us doing these big things out here, and your people are from Ghana, right?
Absolutely.
I just want to make sure I get all the shout outs, you know, because people thinking, you know, make sure you tell us she's from Ghana, but they're going to get on me. I'm the advisor for a group called SEAL. They call it the Society of Emerging African Leaders. So I know that, you know, some people think it's great that you went to Temple, but some people are like, you better, you know, get that Ghanaian part right as well. And your upbringing, who were those people for you? Whenever people are able to give back like that, you know, I'm always interested in who poured into your life and in what ways, what programs, you know, were you involved in that just gave you an understanding for the potential of these types of programs?
I mean, I don't know that I was any more active than the average person. Honestly, I didn't become more socially active, I think, until I got to grad school. Most of what I guess was poured into me or who I became was really a result of my community, both Ghanaian American and African American. And I think for me, you know, again, I'm first generation born here in the States, but I was born and raised, or I should say, and I was born and raised in New Orleans. And so on both sides of my identity, culture has always been like at the forefront. I come from two sides of proud black folk.
I hear you.
And so for me, it was never a question, you know, or never really even an option.
Now, in terms of the Kickstarter campaign and everything like that, for people that want to support, I want to make sure that we let people know how they can get involved in terms of supporting, because it's completely funded by supporters, right?
Yeah, well, the beautiful thing is that this season I did a Kickstarter in early 2018. I set out with a goal of $25,000. We raised that in 2 days. Yeah,
that's what's up.
So by the end of the Kickstarter, we had almost doubled the goal.
Wow.
And then more recently, I just raised $16,000 in the month of March to put on a premiere party in New Orleans a couple of weeks ago, and it was really dope. And so everything that we've been able to accomplish has been with the support and because of the love of our community. And so right now we don't have any active campaigns, but we consistently accept people's love and donations. And so you can get more information about that if you check out professionalblackgirl.com.
So professionalblackgirl.com, just to stay abreast of all the new events and campaigns.
Yeah.
I see one of my favorite spoken word artists in the world. I see Sonny Patterson's name is on here as well.
Yeah.
And how did you connect with Sister Sonny Patterson?
I've known Sonny for some years. I actually met Sonny. I was living in Miami. This was after Katrina is when I met her. But yeah, and so this season we're focused on sisters who are from New Orleans, and Sonny reps New Orleans well. And so, of course, when it was time to highlight my city, I reached out to her. And so, of course, she agreed.
No, you said hashtag Black Girl Magic, so it's only right? You get all the heavy hitters.
That's right.
Now, in terms of the rebuild, a lot of, we don't hear about post-Katrina, we don't. If you don't have relatives or know people that have roots in the area, once the news stops covering something, they act like nothing ever happened. So, what is the state of development, the state of culture in terms of people who've returned to different areas? Can you just give us a little bit, about what's going on in the area, just for the family to understand where we are with the situation in New Orleans?
I mean, rebuilding it takes generations to rebuild, and I think the beautiful thing about New Orleans, again, is that we are so committed to our culture that there's no way it's going to go anywhere. But like most major cities in this moment, we're all aware of the impact of gentrification, right? And so a lot of that rebuilding has been at the hands of well-intentioned folks who are not from New Orleans, right, who are going to come and pour economically into the community. And so, of course, I'm not going to say we can't, but we don't discourage them from doing so. And so with their money comes their influence, and so you definitely see shifts and change. So if you didn't experience New Orleans before Katrina, you missed out on a magical place.
No, I hear you. In terms of the series, what is the end goal if you have a long-term goal for the series? Some people say, what if you were approached to do it on this platform or on this level, or do you have a vision set out for Professional Black Girl that you see where it's going and would like to share that vision with the people?
We're just flowing. We're following the lead of our community, and so it could be something else next year. I'm open to those things, but I don't ever want to overdo anything, you know, and so I don't know that it makes sense to have 5 and 6 and 7 seasons of Professional Black Girl in this format. It will likely develop into yet another type of programming and new content creation, but ultimately always committed to reflecting our joy and our culture.
And just for those that don't know, can you tell us a little bit about your job or your role in academia as well, and just a little bit about what led you to your work currently?
I'm currently the Dan Blue Endowed Chair in Political Science at North Carolina Central University. And though I am positioned in political science, I'm not a political scientist. I was trained in African American studies. But ultimately, my role in the department, based upon the work that I do, is to really expose students to new ways of thinking about systems of power, right? Because anytime we're talking about things that are political, we're talking about negotiations of power. And so I teach courses on the body politic. My work focuses on skin color politics, colorism, hair texture. So we talk about the politics of even embodying blackness. I also teach a course on the politics of hip-hop culture, less about a music appreciation course than it is about getting students to recognize the power inherent even in the genre and the culture that is known as hip-hop. So that's what I do in terms of teaching. In terms of research and such and scholarship and such, like I said, particularly with Professional Black Girl in this moment, I'm focusing on creating content that gives us an opportunity to experience joy.
And there's two things that I find really fascinating, which is emblematic in the work that you do, is I remember a time where people were discussing the growing field of African American studies when a lot of the people who were taking the lead in the field didn't have terminal degrees in the discipline because the discipline was just starting. So you had people like Dr. Asante, who might have had a degree in communications, but then he was tasked with creating the first PhD in African American studies. And likewise, a lot of the early people, in the field had to get their degrees, as they were capable, according to what was afforded to them. And the conversation was always about, where can we work? Where can you work with those degrees? But the landscape of academia and society has shifted in such a significant way that there is an appetite and a need for these diverse opinions and perspectives, in a way where you have somebody like you who's not just working in African American studies, you are an endowed chair of political science. So it's really encouraging for a lot of the young people, I guess, in programs like those that we came from. People always ask us, even our family members, what are you going to do with that degree? So for you to, continue to expand the realm of possibility for what people can do and show that we can use our unique perspective and enter these more mainstream spaces and offer something of significant value and create content. I think that's the other thing that's really important, because oftentimes we're tasked to theorize and comment about the impacts of content, but to get into content creation, I think that's like really important and impactful. So I just wanted to thank you for just expanding what's possible, because that's what they need to see. Thank you. Any last issues or thoughts that you think? We were talking today about how significant the changes were on so many levels with gentrification, with national politics. There's so many things. International politics, a lot of people were underreporting the cyclone and some of the effects in Mozambique and parts of Africa. Anything that's just on the top of your list right now that you're just like, people don't pay enough attention to, that you would want to bring attention for the listeners?
No, I mean, not necessarily. I think I'm more in observational mode and seeing where our attention is drawn, and why. I think it's more significant and reflective of the times that we're in. A lot of times we critique folks for not doing this or not doing that, but my question is always like, how would they know to do that, right? So if we expect folks to read certain things or know certain information, how is it that we expect them to get that information? So again, for me, I recognize that academia, higher education, it's a privileged space, right? And so for me, I've never wanted my work to only reach folks who can come into those four walls, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
So when we talk about doing the work, you have to talk about access. You have to talk about, ultimately, who are you doing this work for? If they can't even reach it, if they can't even understand it, we get caught up in our degrees and the letters behind our names, and we think it's time to use big language and wax poetic, on and on. But ultimately, can people even understand what you're talking about?
Yeah. No, I hear.
Not, what's the point?
What's the point? No, I definitely agree, and I appreciate the fact that you obviously focus far more energy in doing than talking. So the fact that you comment on observational mode and you have such a laid-back demeanor, but you are so effective with regards to getting things done, I think that's definitely instructive for our people, because a lot of times, we find ourselves investing a lot of energy into that which isn't necessarily fruitful and is more triggering than constructive. And I think it's important to sit back and be in observation mode as pragmatic strategists. I think it'll help us a lot more to take certain postures, especially when things seem to get, really overwhelming and sensational, to really just take a step back. So where can we view the next season? Just one more time.
You can check out everything. You can get to it through professionalblackgirl.com. You can connect to our Instagram, which is popping. You can connect to the YouTube, where you can watch episodes. You can connect to our Facebook. You can get to all of those things through professionalblackgirl.com.
It's an honor and a privilege just to talk to you and just to see the great work that you're doing. It is extremely inspiring, and I'm just glad to have even went to one of the schools that you went to. And it's just great to see what graduates of African American Studies programs continue to do to change the world. So thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. Take care.
You too.
Yep, she went to the department. She got her doctorate, doing big things. I thought that was beautiful. She's up there, endowed chair. Let me get that thing right. I had it written down. Okay, Dr. Yaba Blay is the Dan T. Blue Endowed Chair in Political Science at North Carolina Central University, and one of today's leading voices on Black beauty and Black beauty politics. I just am so encouraged, Because people always say that to us. Y'all don't understand. What you gonna do with that degree? I say be Jesse Williams, be Michelle Obama. You know, like there's a lot of people got degrees in African American studies. Like, you know, don't let them get you scared, and you can't learn about yourself. My gosh, you know, you know now we the bosses now. You know, you can do a lot with them. What's the name of the show? One more time. Let me get it right. Let me get it right. I was about to say something else. Professional Black Girl. I was going to say Professional Black Girl Magic. Professional Black Girl, the essence of Black Girl Magic. Season 2. And those names, she got the big names. Listen to all this, y'all. Each episode features a candid discussion with homegrown personalities such as on-air journalist Casey Ferren, bounce music legend and mother of twerk Cheeky Black, and that's one that was on the Beyonce song, right? I think so. Social media, New Orleans. Remember that? What happened at the New Orleans? Okay. Social media sensation and makeup mogul Wuzam Super, a.k.a. Super Scent, the legendary spoken word artist Sonny Patterson, an unmistakable character of New Orleans, is amplified through these professional black girls. I wonder, I'm going to listen. I'm going to check the tape if we can get some Sonny Patterson on before the show ends. I'll make sure, you know, we got to vet it, make sure everything's cool and calm, and we're going to get some spoken word on. Get your snaps ready. I am Aaron Smith, the rapping professor. She is Queen Kawesa, the super producer. The book I was going to suggest earlier when Brother Mo was talking, I think I suggested a couple times before, but War is a Racket. Some people haven't read that book. I always tell people, read that book. War is a Racket by General Smedley. War is a Racket. You're waking up with word, y'all.
The Source.
Weekdays, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Special guest host Renee Chanel Patin every Monday in April.
The Source. Exclusively on Word Radio and WordRadio.com.
Mayor Kenny says there's no alternative to the beverage tax to fund pre-K and rebuild. Guess who disagrees? Philly residents.
It's a damn disgrace.
Small business owners.
The businesses take a hit with profits and the customers take a hit with their payment. It's kind of a lose-lose in Philadelphia right now with this tax.
And even Kenny himself in 2015 when he was a candidate, whose funding plan called for no new taxes. It's just tax after tax after tax in Philadelphia. Where does it stop? It's time City Council did something about it. Now, Philadelphia has a surplus, more than $360 million to fund critical needs like pre-K, without the unfair beverage tax that hits working families the hardest. Call 311 and tell City Council to do the right thing. Axe the beverage tax now. Brought to you by the Axe the Bev Tax Coalition, funding provided by the American Beverage Association.
Come to the 2019 Faith and Spiritual Affairs Health Justice Conference on Friday, April 26th from 8 to 4 p.m. The city is building a movement for community health, healing, and justice in Philadelphia. Dress comfortably for yoga, line dancing, and other joyful movement. Learn more about this free event at foodfitphilly.org/healthjusticephl. Co-hosted by the Philadelphia Department of Public Health and the Department of Behavioral Health and Intellectual Disability Services.
Listen live at wordradio.com.
We filmed 15 Pennsylvania kids who were all waiting to be adopted and asked what having a family and permanent home would mean to them.
I want a family just to accept me for who I am, to be there just to support me whenever I'm needing it.
To be matched with a family would be amazing. I won't be in a system all the time.
Visit adoptpakids.org to watch the video, meet the kids, and learn how you can become a foster or adoptive parent.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Lifting every voice till earth and heaven ring. This is Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia. Black Talk Media. Let's go! You're waking up with Word.
Waking up with word, y'all.
On Word Radio. Black Talk Media.
Black Talk Media, 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, WURDradio.com. Listen live anytime and log on. If you don't have that app, you know where to go. Download an app like you know. It's Smedley Darlington Butler, right? He's the author, Smedley D. Butler. I was talking about the book people asked about who the author was. War is a Racket, the anti-war classic by America's most decorated soldier. War is a Racket, the anti-war classic by America's most most decorated soldier, Smedley D. Butler. So he went all over the place, and he was saying like what Brother Mo was alluding to, we were brave and we served, but man, they was using us to do some other things, man, so war is a racket. 215-634-8065, 215-634-8065. Another thing that Brother Mo was talking about was the Abraham Lincoln stuff. I still talk to people every day, and I'd be like, yeah, Abraham Lincoln, yeah, he was racist. They'd be like, what? They'd be like, what? There is a statue in Vermont of Abraham Lincoln with a woman laying by his side. Like he's standing and she's like leaned up against him, and her clothes are in disarray. I'll leave it like that. And then there's a boy who seems like he's going to get his clothes. But there's a statue of Abraham Lincoln that the people just need to see. Because there was one where, they have a black man kneeling in front of him. It's like emancipation or something. Abraham Lincoln is like reaching out. The black man's on his knees. And it's really like, it's just disturbing. But while I was talking about that one time, I was on Google, and the other one popped up. And I'm like, why are these people undressed around Abraham Lincoln? Like, what is this all about? And it was just so disturbing. And if you don't, read the quotes and all that, and like I said, the children read the images in the iconography before they learn to read. A young child is 2 years old. He sees black man kneeling, white man standing, reaching out. When he does learn to read, it says emancipation. Then he learns he freed them. And there's a lot of messaging in there. So if you don't ever get the quote that says, I will say that I am not, nor have ever been in favor of bringing about in any way the social and political equality of the white and black races. This is Abraham Lincoln. That I am not, nor ever have been in favor of making jurors of Negroes, nor qualifying them to hold office, nor to intermarry with white people. And I will say, in addition to this, that there is a physical difference between the white and black races, which I believe will forever forbid the two races living together on terms of social and political equality. And insomuch as they cannot so live, while they do remain together, there must be the position of superior and inferior. And I, as much as any other man, am in favor of having the superior position assigned to the white race. I say upon this occasion, I do not perceive that because the white man is to have the superior position, the Negro should be denied everything. Don't deny him everything, though. Yeah. I said it before, whose rhetoric is worse, Trump's or Lincoln's? It's a debatable question, right? Trump is more dog whistle in the age of political correctness. Now, if Trump was born back then, he might sound worse than Hitler. But I'm saying right now, if I look at you, just do it side to side, word for word, this sounds a little more David Duke-ish, eugenics type of hierarchy of the races than what Trump is talking. Trump is right behind him. Trump is right behind him. So how could you let somebody call this person the great emancipator? How did that even happen? But if I show, man, I wish I can get that picture up. Or maybe we gotta give it to Martin to put it on the website or something. If it's appropriate for the website. Abraham Lincoln, they got it. Call me up, 215-634-8065. Racist, right? 1-866-361-0900. Until we stop celebrating this stuff, there is going to be some psychosocial and spiritual repercussions. There is an imbalance that will be created every time we have a Columbus Day event, every time somebody goes to visit Mount Rushmore, every time we salute and celebrate and align ourselves with genocide and rape and violation of a people, we will face the consequences. And we have to decide whether we want to get into this handbasket with them on their way, or if we want to let them go ahead on by. Walk on by, right? Like, if you see somebody going to do the wrong thing, sometimes you gotta let them go by themselves. It's difficult sometimes when they're trying to drag you into the wars with them and everything. They are trying to get you. What they say, if Vietnam, black man go home. This is not your war. So I don't know. Sometimes they get you in it and you ain't got no choice. So, but now that we home, let's reassess if this is really in our best interest to make these moves. Brother Cliff from Connecticut, thank you for waking up with Word.
Mr. Fitz, thanks for taking my call. Listen, just want to bring up this issue. Has anybody really discussed about the burnings of the churches last week?
Yeah, we just reported that the man was charged with a hate crime.
Okay, here's my point. We have experienced, as a people, we have gone and endured the apathy of our churches being burnt down and the hatred And so now, you know, and I hope I'm not offending anybody, but I'm speaking truth. Now with the church in Paris, the cathedral being burnt down, I hear a lot of sympathy coming from white people about their parish and their church being burnt down. Now they know the feeling of what we experience as a people when our church are deliberately burned down. So it is what it is, and you know, do you understand my point? Am I making myself clear?
Clear.
You know, all I'm saying is that our church has been burnt down, our house of worship, and so now theirs has been burnt down, you know, not intentionally, but by mistake. But the sympathy that they're expressing and they're feeling, we have always tolerated that throughout history. It has been done deliberately. So thank you, my brother.
Well, thank you for your call, Cliff from Connecticut. The quote, you can find the quote just by typing in racist Lincoln quotes, and it's from the 4th debate with Stephen A. Douglas at Charleston, Illinois, September 18th, 1858, and you can find it in many works in addition to the collected works of Abraham Lincoln, edited by Roy P. Basler, Volume 3, pages 145 to 146. On the line at this time, Ab from North Philly. Thank you for waking up with Word.
Yes, how are you?
Doing well.
Okay, I had, it was, I think the first thing was the, I guess the safe houses in, near Kensington and Allegheny.
Yes, we had a conversation about that today.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, an idea I believe that they should have was, aside from that, was to try to see if the money that they were going to take to help support these people to use drugs, that funding they should try to use towards giving police more hours in the area, patrols and stuff like that. That would severely cut down the rate of the drug sales and transactions and stuff like that in the area, which in return would have less people on the streets that are using drugs. So I just wanted to say, like, I don't know why they don't consider that. It's just, you know, another tactic as far as not putting a safe house in an area that they don't really care about, just to increase the patrols in that area and use that funding, you know, to put programs there to educate people about stuff as far as the drugs and stuff like that.
No, I hear you.
So those were the two things, like, you know, basically just using the funding for the police and trying to put programs instead of using city money for safe houses. They already have safe houses. There's guys in the ghetto that allow junkies to come in their homes and they sell needles for $1, clean needles. So we got enough safe houses in the ghetto. We don't need any more of those. We need more programs that help people and educate them about drugs and what they do, and we need more programs that educate the children and teach them about drug use and avoiding drugs, as opposed to aiding and abetting people and breaking the law. So that's just my thought on it. That's all.
No, I hear you. Definitely a conversation worth having about, you know, and that's why I asked what the long-term plan was, because even if this remedies something in the immediate sense, like what, we just can't keep having that happen. I mean, it's good to stem the tide of the overdoses, but is there a second tier, you know, is there a second arm or leg to the plan where it's like once we reduce the levels of overdoses, then we move into phase 2, which is when we try, you know, we might need to flesh it out. Maybe the conversations are good so we can really start having some long-term conversations. In some lighter stories, Chicago Mayor-elect Lori Lightfoot, I want to share this with the people. Remember how they had the first openly gay, first black female mayor? So the Chicago Mayor-elect, one of the first things she's doing, which I mean, she's letting us know where she stands. This is good now. This is a better sign than anything Rahm's done. It says that she confirmed Jussie Smollett's case doesn't rank as a matter of any importance. Because, you know, the Chicago police and Rahm Emanuel, everybody's like, yo, we got to get Jussie, and he made a mockery of us. He embarrassed us, and our resources. And she was like, chill, bruh. We got bigger fish to bake. Try to keep it healthy. No, I'm just kidding. Malik from North Philly, thank you for waking up with Word.
How you doing?
Doing good.
You know, y'all talk about a lot of good topics. You know, I'm a good friend of Rick Ford. He's a radio announcer on WRD on Saturday.
All right.
But I'm a recovering drug addict, and I've been clean for 6 years and 7 months.
Congratulations.
And I believe that, you know, you guys talk about a lot of good talk, but those safe houses, to me, I mean, and a lot of people that I know, that is really endangering our community because the neighborhood is already, you know, in a struggle with the drugs, and the drugs are illegal. Why would you want to let someone inject some drugs and then turn them loose into the streets or turn turn them loose on our children, turn them loose on our old folks, turn them loose on our stores, because when people are under the influence of drugs, they are not themselves. They have to look at this in the totality that when you're under the influence of drugs, a mind-altering, mood-changing substance, so you're not yourself anymore. Some people become monsters. Some people become pets for people. Some people become other than humans. So allow somebody to just go in somewhere and inject drugs into their body and then send them off into what's supposed to be free society. You're crazy, man. You're not thinking.
No, and
I'm not saying you, but I'm saying
no, I get you. The people who are planning it.
Because I was on drugs in Strawberry Mansion. I created hell all through Strawberry Mansion. 32nd and Diamond, 32nd and Susquehanna, all around from 29th, from Broad Street on back, man. Robbing, doing all kind of stuff, you know?
I used to live on 17th and Diamond. Did you break in my car, Malik? No, I'm just playing. I'm just joking, brother. But yeah, one time somebody did give me somebody. No, but while I got you here, seriously, I appreciate your candor. And I commend you, you know, on your discipline and your transformation, you know, back to yourself and in your new life. I find it interesting, you know, your commentary, having been so close to this world. Now, one of the things that I was wondering, do you suggest that maybe when people do use in these safe injection sites that they aren't allowed to leave for a certain amount of time? Because I found it interesting the way you said turn them loose. Like if people just use the drug and they let them go right back out, it does seem, you know, like the potential for a lot of negativity to occur. So should there be a time where you have to like use the drug and experience the drug in the facility? And is there dangers there to the people working in those facilities?
I understand what you mean, right? But that's still allowing them. See, remember how with Billie Holiday back in the day when they were like drugs was illegal, and you get caught using drugs, they put you away. They will lock you up.
They said they took her cabaret license and everything, right?
Right.
They wouldn't even let us sing.
Go and lock people up, but because it's like a double standard. You know, give you the drugs and lock you up for it. I hear what you were saying earlier about the cops can watch people go and cop and let them go in and or catch them before they get it. But it should be made known that this is illegal.
I got you.
You know you're addicted. We understand you're addicted, but the law says it's illegal to use heroin. So you should be, yes, not just the injection sites shouldn't be there, but the people who are using drugs, somebody should have programs put that money to grabbing their butts and making them go get some treatment.
I appreciate you, Malik. Thank you for your call and your unique perspective. I really do appreciate that. Josephine from South Philly, thank you for waking up with Word.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
When the young lady was speaking earlier, I thought about the opium wars in China, with China and Britain, and I think about, in some ways, it was like destabilizing the Kensington community. We don't know what's up to 2035, what's on that plan.
I hear you as far as development and all that, right?
Yes.
Yeah, what, that's how I asked. I said, what's the long-term plan? Because it doesn't seem like there was one. If you just open the injection site, at some point the overdoses go down, but then what's step 2, right?
Yes, that's right. And, I mean, you have the whole river. That's close to the river. That's close to 95. I mean, that's really prime real estate without people seeing that it's prime real estate as yet. I just thought about the opium wars. And if you think about it, well, in South Philly, near Broad and Snyder, there's a drug recovery site, I guess a methadone clinic. Sometimes it's almost like a tent city down there. People sleeping all Broad and Snyder, sleeping by the subway station, sleeping by the bus station. And people don't talk about that.
No, the world is, yeah.
Scary.
No, I was going to say some of those areas are not like tent cities. They're just literally tent cities. Like, and in the typical news coverage and the veneer of the city, you don't hear those stories, you know, from what they would consider the underbelly of society, where people are literally, you know, living off the grid in tents and spending their days just trying to get, you know, high. And it's a reality for a lot of people. But no, I appreciate it.
I say a silent prayer and I keep moving.
I hear you. No, I appreciate your call. And in terms of the opium wars, for those that don't know, it was 2 armed conflicts between China and the Western forces. And when China was being ruled 1644 to about 1911, the first Opium War was fought between China and Britain, and the second Opium War, 1856 to 1860, also known as the Arrow War or the Anglo-French War in China, was fought by Britain and France against China. Somebody said that today. You know stuff that France did? And we can go from there to Haiti and talk about the colonial tax. But right now, in each case, the foreign powers were victorious and gained commercial privileges and legal territorial concessions in China. The conflict marked the start of an era of unequal treaties, and other inroads into China's sovereignty helped to weaken and ultimately topple the dynasty in favor of the Republican China in the early 20th centuries. So yeah, forcing these drugs on these people and then destabilizing their community, and problem, reaction, solution, they call it, right? You cause the problem, then you react to it and present yourself as a solution to a problem you created, is an old trope. Maurice from Southwest, thank you for waking up with Word.
Professor, how you feel this morning?
Doing good.
Let me tell you something. I don't understand why we black Philadelphians don't understand. This is all a scam. It's a scam. I mean, did they have any... When they going to start opening up the safe crack houses, okay? I'm so tired of when white people get in trouble, they only think one way. Where's the treatment? I mean, all that's going to do is bring drug dealers 10, 15 blocks away. They sell it there, and then you got a place to go. That's what I'm talking about. So as far as marijuana, the same thing. Yeah, if they got an open site where you go buy marijuana, but what job is going to hire you? That don't mean the job is going to say, oh, marijuana is legal now, we'll hire you. No, they're not going to hire you. There's another reason for them not to hire you. They're going to give you a drug test. Oh, you smoke marijuana. And the same thing I want to hit on the church, too. I mean, half the news last night was about Notre Dame. Come on, man. What is going on? We supposed to feel sorry for that? Nobody got killed, and nothing but a building. But when it comes to our concern about our churches, you don't even hear any news coverage. When we going to wake up and start thinking for ourselves? When we going to get this city council out of there? When we going to get this lying-ass mayor we got out of here?
Oh, okay, the language. The language. We got to watch our language. Children on spring break. It's a family show. Red Fox from West Philly, thank you for waking up with Word.
Good morning, Professor.
Good morning.
I said every morning, I don't even look at the news.
You're not going to curse, are you?
No, I'm not.
Name like Red Fox, you know, you might. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. Nah, good morning, brother. I'm just joking.
Good morning. Yes. I know back when we had in school, we had early in our elementary schools and stuff, we had current events, right? And we had a social column where things like this would come up every day.
Okay.
And I'm just streamlining, like the burning of the churches, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, the old case with Captain Kaepernick.
Oh, Kaepernick, yeah.
Yeah. What happened to Dylan Roof, where he's doing and how he's doing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking that some of this stuff is toward at home or in community sites, underground. But nobody, just like Joe Root burning church, somebody else say, he's my hero. They come out and burn churches, right?
Yeah, copycat crimes.
And I'm saying, yeah, but was he living with his past when he burned down these churches? I understand his father is a sheriff.
Yes,
right?
the young man who was arrested for the burning of the churches in Louisiana, his father is a sheriff deputy, yes. Landry Parish.
So his father doesn't know nothing about his whereabouts. My son come in the house, I know what he's doing. Somewhat.
Yeah, and he like that death metal, they call it. He was into that whole paganism and death metal music. So at some level, you listen to the music and you see how he's dressing, and you might, pick up some signs that he might be involved in something that might be, unseemly. But I guess the dad was too busy working.
Okay, did he have a job himself?
I don't know. That's something to look into, but I doubt it. From the looks of the life he was leading, it looked like he was kind of a loner and kind of an introvert, and didn't seem like he was contacting too many people.
Yeah, and just imagine if my son burned down some churches, they gonna lock me up too. And where's his father? We locking him up too because he had some influence. He should have known what his son was doing.
No, I hear. I appreciate. Go ahead.
And my uncle and everybody else that have anything to do with the child.
No, appreciate you, brother Red Fox. We're going to take a quick break, come right back to the phone lines. Sister Shawnette George and everybody on the line, we're coming right back to you. Quick break, and then we're going to wrap it up with the people. I'm Aaron, she's Kawesa, and you are waking up with word, y'all.
EcoWord. Wednesdays on Reality Check with Charles Ellison. 4 p.m. till 7 p.m. Right here on Word Radio and WordRadio.com. The Kimmel Center offers free arts education programs to schools across the region. Teaching artists visit classrooms to educate, engage, and inspire the next generation using creative learning experiences, and schools take trips to the Kimmel Center for live performances. The Kimmel Center is committed to educating Philadelphia's youth by providing access to quality arts. For more information, visit kimmelcenter.org. Support independent black media and join the Forward movement now at 215-425-7875 or visit wordradio.com.
Jacques Wambush Jr. has decided to run for the office of Register of Wills. He thinks new leadership is in order. Now, who is Jacques Wambush? He's a Democratic candidate for Philadelphia Register of Wills. Jacques Wambush Jr. has over 30 years of experience in law enforcement, government administration, training, creating and running successful businesses in our great city of Philadelphia. To better serve communities, as Register of Wills, Jacques would create checks and balances to provide an equitable workforce, implement satellite offices throughout the city of Philadelphia, provide Sunday office hours for outreach, as well as initiating a fraud hotline. With a history of leadership, dedication to public service, and ample experience, if elected, Jacques Wambush Jr. would work diligently to provide accountable, transparent representation and protect the welfare of residents, living and deceased, of Philadelphia. That's why we're supporting Jacques Wambush Jr. Join us. Paid for by friends of Jacques Wambush Jr.
Since 1904, Philly's top sandwich pros and homemakers have always started the exact same way, with those legendary Amoroso's rolls baked fresh daily. Word family, put Amoroso's rolls on your shopping list for your kids' school lunches and your next family gathering. Want to make your very best sandwiches? Always start with the very best sandwich rolls. Pick them up today at your favorite supermarket or food store. Amoroso's, why Philly's sandwiches are world famous.
Let's go! You're waking up with Word with the rapping professor, Dr. Aaron Smith, on Word Radio. Black Talk Media.
Black Talk Media, 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD. I'm Aaron G. Kawesa. You're waking up with Word straight to the phone lines at this time. Shawnette from Westchester. Good morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you guys?
Doing well. How are you?
Good. I wanted to speak to you guys in regards to the safe houses to use whatever substance that's being used. I have a recovery house that's opening up May 1st, geared towards female veterans that are suffering from the opioid epidemic. Now, this is the thing. These safe houses are put in Kensington, correct?
Well, they haven't decided. They said there's no final destination, even though it seems like the majority of conversations have been around the developer that donated the property in that area for $1 for a potential safe house.
Now, would they put these safe houses in higher economic areas?
Yeah, I question whether there will be one on the main line, and my answer was no.
Exactly. Now, I mean, in impoverished areas, they're okay with putting these safe houses in these areas, knowing that there's children going to and from school every day, that these children are witnessing certain things, probably seeing needles on the ground, and they're okay with that. And as far as the epidemic is concerned, again, like I said, I have a program that I'm opening up in May, a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week residential program geared towards the opioid epidemic. If they really wanted to stop this, they would put funding into places like this instead of funding places for safe houses for people to continue to use. It's like one of your previous callers said, this is a vicious cycle. And at the end of the day, it's really all about money, because it's not about curing or correcting the problem. It's more so about the money that goes into this. You know, and that's really my bottom line with it. I spoke to a gentleman 4 days ago, that certifies recovery houses. He said, you know what, Shawnette, it's a lot of money in this epidemic.
I don't doubt it.
Good feel.
I appreciate you. Shawnette from Westchester. Definitely a lot of people are talking about, you know, the economic benefits. You know, they say follow the money. George from Center City. Good morning.
Yes, Professor. How are you doing this morning?
Doing great.
I'm going to call you back for a few calls if it's done. You know, what's her name that the president keeps threatening? Omar?
Yes, Ilhan Omar.
Oh, excuse me. Yes, but you know what? Where's all the Islamic brothers out there? She's from Minnesota, right?
Yes.
Where's all the FOI out there? There's plenty of FOI in Minnesota. And where's the Islamic community of the men? None of them around her, surrounding her. I bet you if it was a Jewish woman getting threatened, you see the anti-defamation, all that there. But it's funny that all these brothers always talking, the only time you see them is when it's to benefit them personally. I have yet to see them come out and for organizational type thing for Islamic women or Islamic men. It's always on some personal level, you know. And then in this city here, the sad part is we got rich Muslims against poor Muslims, dark-skinned Muslims against light-skinned Muslims. It's really tricked up. It's not about the religion anymore. It's all about whatever it is, what benefits me and all that there. So I just wanted to put that out there. Where's the FOI out in Minnesota? And where's the, Islamic community out there? They don't come to her defense or anything. You don't hear them speaking up, but let them talk about a daycare or something, or if they get a contract or something, I bet you they speak up then if they talk about cutting that. Have a good one, Professor.
Yeah, I'll see. I have to look into whether people are in Minnesota on the ground. Rashida from Southwest, thank you for waking up with Word.
Good morning, Professor and Queen Coesa. I just wanted to speak quickly about summer youth employment. All the city needs to do is get 100 companies to take on 10 youth, and I think that'll come up to 1,000 summer jobs for the youth. That's an easy fix. The other thing I want to mention was about the
you said 1,000?
100 times 10. How much is that?
Yeah, but the program I was reading about had like 12,000. Like we need a lot more.
I
than
said
that.
1,000.
Yeah.
That'd be 1,000. If private companies just take 10 youth, they could take as many as they need.
Oh, you mean like just as a start? Like just to get started. Okay, yeah, we need a whole lot more than that, though. That's the whole point I was making with D.C. It's different when it's city-funded. Like all the LLCs and local groups in the world can only do but so much. Everybody knows that when things get citywide or get federal, it's a different level. It's exponentially more effective when the infrastructure is supporting it as opposed to us as private entities trying to do our best. There's a lot of great groups out there that are doing a lot of great work. But there's all these great groups are giving their money to City Hall and giving their money to Harrisburg, and we're being taxed. We want our tax dollars, you know, the tens and hundreds of millions, to be considered in the funding of youth programs that will put us at ease knowing that our young people can get work. Not these mom and pop local LLC group. No. I used to work for CIS. We were one of the biggest youth employers in the city, communities and schools. I was working there when I was working for the Freedom School, the Philadelphia Freedom Schools. I was a coordinator. I was in the office right down there by the art museum, and we had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of students come through because we were one of the biggest youth employers. We connect them to all kinds, but that didn't solve the problem. It's a beautiful Band-Aid. We do great work. Congratulations to everybody who's affiliated with communities and schools. They do amazing work. But it would be nice if all these great groups had the support of the people who are supposed to support these great groups. I'm talking about City Hall, I'm talking about Harrisburg. Like, really make sure that young people know in Philly, we're known for giving jobs to young, and they extended in D.C. up to from 22 to 24. You could be a 24-year-old man and be part of this program. Go get a job. We're making it available. You can't even say that to young people in Philly. You can't even say to somebody you see hanging out, go get a job. They might have a record. You know how hard it is out here. The adults can't even get jobs. But yeah, it's great that some groups are doing some stuff. It'd be nice for the drops in the bucket for the employers to get involved. But we talking about we need like 20,000 jobs. The 1,000 is a nice gesture, but we need something institutional and structural to shift that just goodwill won't be able to do. One of the things I want to share with people, I don't know if people recognize, especially some of the older folks might not know about the significance. Somebody alluded to this earlier. They were talking about Dylan Roof. And one thing I would love for the people to know before I sign off today is this guy is a folk hero. I'm talking about Dylan Roof, the one they took to Burger King, the one that murdered the 9 people in the church in the black church. Like, I wish I can go through something. Maybe I'll follow up tomorrow with a lot of this. But his sister was arrested last year, right? She was arrested, brought up on weapons and drugs charges from her South Carolina high school. So Morgan Roof, 18 years old, was arrested last year after a school resource officer at the AC Florida High School in Columbia, South Carolina, was notified that Roof was carrying marijuana, pepper spray, and a knife on campus. Roof made an alarming Snapchat post expressing anger about the national school walkout. I don't know why that's a bad thing, but she was so angry about that she posted some alarming quote. Judge said a bit. It says, I realize that rumors and the tragic school shooting in Florida are events that can cause anxiety for our students, parents, and faculty. So apparently she's talking the same way her brother was talking and ended up getting arrested and caught with weapons in school. The guy that killed the people in the church. And there's other people online saying that they adored him. One girl that reached out to him was later convicted on murder plot charges. And the New Zealand shooter that went into the mosque talked about Dylan Roof in his manifesto. And Damon from West Philly. I just want y'all to know that he's not just another guy that did something crazy. People are looking up to him, copying him, trying to contact him, and lionizing him. There's a whole new generation of crazy out there. Damon from West Philly.
Yes, sir. Good morning, good professor.
Good morning.
I'd like to make a rebuttal here, a.k.a. George Michael Youngblood. Right? You know, this is the problem why we can't get up. You know, we have people that talk the talk, but they throw a little slanderous curveball in there to keep us stressed. Now, we talked about the good sister in Minnesota, right, about where the people rallying around her. There are people, black, red, yellow, and brown, rallying around our sister Omar. But once again, you know, with much respect to the radio station, we have these mofos that act as though they're with the community, but they throw a slanderous curveball in there. Where's such and such? Michael Youngblood doesn't get in the street, a.k.a. George. Let's pull his part up and see how he privatized the black community with the JBM. Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings. Appreciate you, Brother Damon. I was looking for some of the articles in terms of that support. So, you know, I know I only had a few minutes, so I was trying to do the research on it. Rep. Ilhan Omar. Yeah, I see the brothers talking about it. I don't know. I'm from what I'm seeing. Yeah, I think she's getting supported. You know, from what I'm seeing, the community, the Christians, brothers in the Nation of Islam. I see it look like brothers are supporting the sister. Yeah, I mean, maybe I'll get the actual final call, newspaper article, and everything else. I'll go down to the brothers and get what the write-up is and read it on the air. But yeah, he's definitely. I see Farrakhan's comments. Rashiva Tlaib wrote op-ed for those very final call. Also, yeah. It's been in the final call, and I mean, I don't know what kind of support that he was referring to, but it's definitely on the brothers' radar, and they are showing support and publications, you know, and yeah. It's been a wonderful day, though. It's been a wonderful day, you know. I mean, we covered some stories today and some topics today. Up next is The Source. And I'm just full of conversation. I'm ready to keep it going. So keep it locked to The Source. Keep the energy, keep the passion, the diversity of opinion and thought. We got to work together. Unity, that's what he said. Unity. Casa who told me unity. And we got to unify these people talking about these injection sites to find out what their long-term plan is. Because I can't wait till tomorrow. There's going to be 30 more stories. But what I'm not going to be talking about is the Pope kissing toes and some wood pews burning Notre Dame. That will not be part of the coverage tomorrow. I don't got no time for no fungus mouth or no cedar smoke. I'm not doing it. It's a shame. It was a fire. You kissing feet, that's what you do. And have a lovely day. You're waking up with work, y'all.